How's it going, Luke?
Oh,
You're so clever.
mixing it up. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man.
Good.
Yeah.
You got a special guest
We
today?
got a special guest.
Hey guys.
It's Mr. JRyu.
Yes.
Hello.
JRyu Art. JRyu. Did I say that right? JYRU.
JRyu?
No. It's
JYRU. Ryu.
JRyu.
How do I get out of here?
Dude, I think I spelled it wrong already.
How do I get out of this?
I think I spelled it wrong. Okay.
JRYUART.
Well, those of you who are tuning in will probably be disappointed by the fact that we replaced Linda Lee with JRyu Art, and I apologize. But it's actually my fault.
but a paltry substitution.
It's my fault. Basically, I've been, we usually record on Tuesdays. And when I asked Linda to do the podcast, I asked her under the pretense that it was going to be on Tuesday, to which she agreed. And then I suddenly remembered that I was actually going to be out of town and flying in today on Wednesday. And she was actually flying out of town today too. And so she asked, and we asked Mr. JRyu, aka JRyu, to fill in. And
he's a handsome substitute.
He is a handsome substitute.
But
Yes. We got to tuck into the mic. You're a little bit sideways on the mic. We just move the mic towards you and we'll be better. There you go.
With all the stuff she's into.
Right. The cosplay, the Gundams, the anime.
The mangers.
The
Mangers.
Yeah.
But Jesse and I have been friends now for how many years now?
Like 8?
Yeah.
8 years
8
or so?
years. I actually met Jesse back. Well, you know what? Before we get into all of that, we usually start the show off with current events.
Yeah.
So,
So we're not even who is this guy? I'm just kidding.
he's an artist. If
I'm
you
just going to
don't-
pipe up about
Yeah.
current events.
Yeah.
yes, let's
I'm
talk
a piper upper.
let's talk about what's been going on.
Okay.
Eric, you just had a crazy popular show.
Yeah. Fun art show called Rakugaki.
What
Which
does that
is,
mean?
It's the funniest part. I'm not even 100% sure.
You know,
Japanese.
Yeah.
It's Japanese. It technically, some people say it means doodle, but I think to do an art show that's called a doodle art show would be really shitty, because that to me means like you draw in a gum wrapper and call that art or something. So I purposely left it as Rakugaki, so you don't know what it really means. You can look it up, doodle, drawing, sketch, but I think for the most part it means doodle. And, to say it, I don't want to give that a literal translation because it just means crappy, right? Doodles mean crap here.
Yes.
Right? A sketch, a little better, and a drawing, maybe a little better. I kind of see it as like this kind of like
I
there's
didn't know
different
there's
levels.
this hierarchy to sketch.
Oh, it's
Well, doodles, a doodle is totally garbage, right? That's what you write on your bank deposit form when you're standing there waiting in line and you just start drawing shit on the margins, right?
So which one was the show?
It's any of them.
Any of them. So it can be like
Kind of. Yeah.
from shit all the way to like
Well,
masterpiece.
It could be. Yeah. I kind of left it really open for people to interpret. So, yeah, in a way.
I was actually there the Friday night to help you
Yeah.
set up when I was dropping my work off.
Oh, wait. Dropping your work off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just leave it at that. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay. So Luke was dropping off this this work that he spent so much,
Spent,
tons of effort on, and we were hanging the work, and Luke was there. What were you doing there?
I was checking everything out. And
Luke was putting work on the wall and
and,
measuring everything.
Yeah, I was also buying work, because I was.
That's also a funny story. I learned a little more about Luke. Thought I knew everything. No. I learned that you picked all this art, and in the end, you left with total different stuff than you originally picked. That was interesting.
No, I stuck with the two that I originally picked.
Did you? Because you wanted, I want this, and I was like, oh, he's getting that. I want this, and then I was like, oh, he's gonna get that too. Next thing I know, he's not getting that, not getting this, and then it was like something else.
Well, look, I
cool.
wanted. There was an amazing Junko Mizuno sketch. Drawing.
You stuck with that.
Yeah, and there was a great Helen Joe drawing. And I love both of those artists' work.
Yeah.
And then I was really kind of on the fence with the Mupan drawing, but it's a little out of my price range. You know, it was like $400. And then there was the whatchamacallit, you know, what was the name of they do these very stylized kind of
JRyu.
Yeah,
I don't know.
JRyu.
I don't know the correct pronunciation of it actually.
I thought that, like, I
Maybe
told you
that's
I was
it.
going to buy it, but
Yeah.
then, like, you know, when you asked me again whether or not I was going to buy it, I
You
was
were
like,
No, but when you left, you said, "I just want these two." I remember you saying that.
yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, nonetheless, I learned that you change your mind a lot.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Well, you know,
That's
So
okay.
fickle.
it's an investment for a piece
Yeah.
of paper with a drawing on it.
Hey, that's our
I
world.
could take that same money and it'll come out in polystyrene, and like it'll like have a real presence in my.
Let's talk about Gundams.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, or metal, you know, like that. The amount of money I just spent on those two drawings, I could have bought in like some deluxe toys.
You know, we're all about markings, right? Markings on paper. That's what it's all about. Kind of. Yeah.
Anyways, but I remember when I left, there was already a person kind of like in a lawn chair, you know,
Yeah.
camping out.
Yeah. So we had a camper overnight, like you said. I didn't even know he was there until you sent me a text message, and I was like, "What?" Mm-hmm. There he was.
Was he the only one, or were there others?
Someone came early in the morning and met up with him, I guess. But he was there at midnight, I guess, and he told me the story of that block from midnight on. It was really interesting. Like he was saying, "Oh, at 2 this happens, and at 2:15 there's this guy. And then the last customer left there at 2:45, and the security guard was hanging out for a while. Then he left it. You know, it was just weird. He knew everything of what he saw."
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then he started talking about all the deliveries that started coming and how all the delivery people have keys to all their restaurants. So he goes, "Oh, this place brought, you know, the truck came and they brought like vegetables or something, and they had a key and they went right into the restaurant and dropped it off." I was like, "Oh, it's weird." Like I didn't
know that. Yeah, I didn't even.
he
know
witnessed
that's how
all
it
this stuff,
worked.
but it's not that interesting. I was asking if anything was weird, and he said not really. Oh, he said if it's late at night, it's all white people on Sawtell. That's what he said. Yeah. Sawtell becomes totally white after like midnight or something.
So it's very unsafe then.
I don't know.
But well, did he pick something up?
Yeah, he did. He picked up Audrey Kawasaki art, which is what kind of I think he was waiting for.
Well,
Yeah.
that's good.
Something he wanted was
Yes.
that, and he got what he wanted.
He should have just waited until like 6:30. Then he could have gotten like Laura. What's her name? Lauren.
Lauren Tsai. Yeah.
Lauren Tsai.
Yeah. Who? Gosh, the amount of people that came for just her was an amazing amount of people. I think that could have been, I don't know.
Got to give her a solo show.
Is it 50% of the people were her just for her? I'm not sure.
Well, you know, yeah, it was kind of
Yeah.
funny because like when I showed up on Saturday night around like 8:45, 9 o'clock, like Audrey was just kind of kicking back outside, just chilling, you know, talking to like, you know, like Marcus and Jeremiah, and you know, no one was like really kind of like, you know, like, you know, trying to like glom
Yeah.
onto her, and you know, and like you were saying, it's all like, you know, the power of, you know,
Yeah.
Lauren Tsai's
I guess
celebrity.
so. We're in art, and we think, oh, Audrey Kawasaki is a huge star, or James Jean is a huge star, and they are.
Mm-hmm.
But then, yeah, Hollywood, the Hollywood fame thing is another beast.
Oh yeah.
Because wow, like autographs for hours type of thing, and mobbed for hours, and lines all night type of thing just for Lauren, and it has nothing to do with the art really. It just has to do with her,
Yeah.
her personality or her persona, and that was crazy.
She is the art.
I don't know about that, but it was amazing.
Whoa,
though.
what are you saying?
Well, I don't know. She is the art. I
She
don't
is
know.
the art.
She
She's
is
a
the art. Is it?
model.
Okay.
I mean, I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
saying her physical appearance. I'm saying like the experience of going there. It's like everything.
Okay.
The art.
Yeah.
The fact that she's a celebrity.
Yeah.
The fact that she, you know, and there's that Venn diagram of celebritydom and then being an artist and then being a giant robot. I mean, it's an experience.
I guess. Okay, thanks. Sounds good.
Does it make you feel better?
Not really. It's the same, but I guess it's contextualizing the experience. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
leave it to JRyu to contextualize that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of wild where I'm just like, oh, James, no one cares. Audrey, less people care. You know what I mean? It's just like seeing that. Well, what about you, Luke?
Oh, I'm
Did people
nothing.
care?
I'm nothing. I mean, even if Lawrence I wasn't there, like with James and like Audrey there, I'm just a shadow.
Yeah, no one gives a
No.
fuck about me either, though. They're just like, oh, what art did you get? Oh, you didn't get anything I like? Okay, bye. Right? It's it's whatever, they don't care about me either. So.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Likewise,
you could see how much people cared by just how much work I sold.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, usually do.
I
well.
sold nothing. That's what I'm saying.
Well, at the moment, but we'll see. So, yeah.
And then I see you breaking the rules for the celebrity. 10
rules?
pieces, limited 10 pieces. Limited to 8.5 by 11 inches. And then a whole bunch of non for sale pieces on the wall.
Oh, 4.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Why weren't they for sale?
I think they're two-sided, and I think there's stuff that she wrote, like diary entries on the back.
So why even show it then?
Oh, we could have just.
Why even show it?
That's the epitome of a true doodle.
There's
Doodle
sketchbook.
desk.
Those are school sketchbook pages, but yeah, she did sell all the rest.
Yeah,
of
but
her
why
stuff.
show the stuff that you can't sell? It's a gallery, man.
It's all good. She actually asked if it was okay, and I was like, just whatever, just hurry. Let's just get him over here. She brought him at 3:30 or 4 o'clock, so I was just like,
Sometimes you just want to show the work.
because we're a gallery.
Yeah.
It's called a group show.
I'm just kidding, but it's all good.
She's showing.
Group show.
She's part of a group that is showing.
Don't cast a shadow on everybody else with your crap. There's stuff that you can't sell. You can't even let the gallery sell.
You should do the same thing in one upper. NFS. NFS.
NFS.
NFS.
The magic word NFS.
Unfortunately, I have bills to pay, and I don't have Netflix or television studio money coming in.
Is it Hulu? I'm not sure what channel.
I don't
Legion
even know
is
what
on.
the freaking show is.
It's called
but,
Legion.
You know what? I'm fucking
Netflix?
jealous.
Yeah.
Smell
basically,
my jealousy.
That's a Marvel show, right? Basically, is it Marvel or what? I mean, it is a Marvel It's a Marvel Universe scene.
It will
right?
be going back to Disney soon.
Okay, that show. But that show.
Well, no, all of Fox's properties, which include Fantastic Four, X-Men.
Because Legion is an
Silver
X-Men.
Surfer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's based on.
That's a comic I kind of missed. I think that was after my era of reading comics.
So like 1960 or 70, right?
No, Legion isn't it Legion? Shut up. Oh my God. Pulls out the joke.
It's already starting.
Pulls out the joke.
We're all similar in age, but Eric will always still be uncle.
Oh, jeez.
Luke is like Jack Burton, and here we have Lopan.
I don't get that reference.
Immortal from Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China.
I did not like that movie.
Oh.
I thought it was racist and garbage.
Oh. Okay.
Green-eyed Asians. What the fuck is that bullshit? Is that's the movie I'm thinking about, right?
No.
Oh.
What? Big Trouble in Little China is like the thing with like the 8 Chinese girls with green eyes or some shit like that, right?
I don't remember anymore, man.
That was the whole conceit of the movie. Is Lopan wanted to achieve immortality to find the Chinese girl with green eyes, which is obviously super, super rare.
I looked it up. I looked up Chinese girls with green eyes, and it's actually a West Chinese thing, like a Uyghur thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Whoa.
Yeah, which means they're
Must be that proximity to Russian water.
Oh yeah, or just the European kind of like thing going there.
A lot of the Kazakhs look very Asian.
Oh, it was weird, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they look completely Asian, like Beijing, China Asian.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll come into the store and then they have a Russian accent.
It's a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Actually, I've not seen any at the store, but I've watched videos where I'm like, what the fuck? Like they look like,
Yeah,
it's
they
a trip,
look
right?
like,
They look like
Chinese graduate students, but
Yeah.
they sound like Zangief.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Is Kazakhstan? Are they Muslim? Or is that a Muslim? I'm gonna guess so, but I'm not
I think
sure.
it is a Muslim thing,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I went to Vegas right afterwards on Sunday.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Working on a photo kind of project with a friend of mine.
Cool.
And ended up painting a whatchamacallit?
A mural.
A mural.
Yeah.
In my friend's cam rooms. The prospect of, having girls, play with themselves, in front of my work on the internet, just seemed like such a great idea.
When is that going to go live? Like, when can
This
someone
week.
see?
They're having
wow.
they're having an open house this week, and
As soon as this ends, Eric's like,
What's the website?
I don't remember, but I'll get the link. And I'll,
LukeCams.com.
No.
Okay.
No.
Luke Bear, sadbear.com, sadbearcams.com.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't
They should
know.
make a special URL just for your room with your painting. That'd be kind of cool.
I'll talk to my friend.
I'm sure maybe he doesn't want to divide up his traffic, but I just thought it'd be funny just for the
you
fans.
should call it Wank of Lament. I'm just saying it's catchy. It's very poignant.
Yep.
And that might not exist. Like, that might be a URL not taken.
Oh,
actually.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's a gold mine.
Yeah.
I'll go to GoDaddy afterwards.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jesse.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jesse. So what have you been up to, Jesse?
Just finishing up more production toy stuff with Kid Robot. Have a series coming out in May, follow up to this series that we did a couple years ago called Arcane Divination. So part 2 is coming out in May.
And that was a really popular series.
It did pretty well. Like, we were really happy with how it turned out.
Who were the artists on it?
What's that?
Who were some of the artists that were in it?
There's only 5 artists total. It's myself, John Paul Kaiser. For the first series, it was myself, John Paul Kaiser, God Machine, Camila DeRico, and Tokyo Jesus. And in the second series, it's the same lineup, except God Machine stepped back for this one, and we had Dr. A step in.
Oh.
Yeah. So tonally, like, all the artists kind of do, I wouldn't say it's dark work, but I would say that it's not necessarily like that trend that you're seeing in China with all the super cute stuff and everything. I mean, because it is a tarot-inspired series. Mm-hmm. So the first series was half of the card set, and then the second series we're finishing out so that you have a complete set of the major arcana.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice. When will it, do you think it'll be released?
It's tentatively scheduled for mid-May, so it's pretty soon here.
Nice.
But yeah, we're looking forward to it. We're just putting the final touches on it before it goes into production. So
do you think there'll be room for a third set?
A third series?
Yeah. Because it's a tarot thing, so I don't know whether or not, I don't even know how many cards there are.
I have
in the
no
tarot.
idea either.
It's like 22 cards in the major arcana, and so we're finishing it out actually with this series.
So you have that means there's 22 figures made.
More than, because we've got the chases, we've got the alternates, plus we have some other ones that are part of the mythos that we wanted to contribute to it. So it felt like there's like a fortune teller that's called the clairvoyant, so that's obviously not part of the card set. But I think the branding of Arcane Divination is such that it's become its own subline of darker gothic inspired work from Kid Robot. Because back in 2006 or 7, right, it was very street, what they would call urban right?
vinyl, right?
Yeah, and they've since diversified. So a few artists they've been working with, not only myself, but say someone like Dr. A. He does very kind of Victorian, like
steampunky kind
Little,
of stuff.
yeah,
mechanical looking.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
And I think that tonally they're a little bit more in line than, say, myself and someone like Jesse Hernandez that does very graphic and very beautiful, Mexican-inspired, Aztecan-inspired work, right? So there is a possibility for more projects under the brand of Arcane Divination. But
is Aztecan the way to say that? You said Aztecan. Is it Aztecan? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought you were speaking from
Aztecan?
I don't know.
Aztecan?
Aztecan? I don't know.
Is it Spanish or Spanish?
Not sure.
Oh, oops. I was trying to get it so I could lean back a little bit.
Everyone
more.
wants to touch the microphones all the time here.
Yeah.
And then when they do, things go wrong.
I think Linda has these booms.
Yeah, they're not the best.
Any of these things that you have to tighten under the table?
Yeah.
She literally has one that holds up a monitor.
Uh-huh.
And it's crushed a little bit through the table.
Oh, really?
Just because the weight of it over time is just puts so much pressure.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I understand. Oh,
That's
what
okay.
has Luke done? Touching the microphone too much. That's what happens.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Sorry, boss.
It's okay.
Anyways, so, well, that's great.
The quickest response ever. That's great. Yeah.
I mean, are you stoked about it?
Yeah, I'm super stoked because it's one of those things where when you haven't worked with a company, say with Giant Robot, with Monkey King, or with Kid Robot, you always think about the opportunities you would want to to be presented with in order to create something without a lot of interference per se. And I think, you know, when I first started, I would think, oh, maybe I should inject myself really into this. But I think the more that you get under your belt, you look more about the project and what you can do to serve the idea of the series.
Well,
right?
that's being a team player too, right?
Right.
I mean, you could maybe do something later that's not part of that project when it's after this one's done, right?
Exactly.
Sort of the idea. But
It's
you're
like a
not gonna-
vanity project
yeah.
versus something that you know is designed in a way to appeal to a certain demographic, right?
But it's still your work. right?
Exactly.
So yeah.
And Frank Kozik was very generous in terms of allowing me to oversee the project on my side, working with the artists.
What's it like working with him? I
With
mean,
Frank?
He's a legend, right? So
He's like, our personal relationship is such that he's super kind to me, like, but we don't necessarily talk the way that, say, me and Luke would talk day to day or something like that. We're not on that level of friendship, you know.
but is he? How old's that dude? Is he like 60?
I don't think he's 60 yet.
55? I mean, he's
He's
he just looks-
mid-50s.
He just looks older to me. And
Yeah.
Like I would think he's been around a lot longer than I have. So
Well, that's the funny thing is, right? It's like, you know him for this rebel, this guy that's doing a lot of punk rock stuff, and
That's where I
he
know him
owned a
from.
record company,
Sure.
and did a lot of gig posters, and now he's like working at Kid Robot, right?
yeah.
Which seems strange, but he is. I have to say this about him: his work ethic is pretty crazy.
Cool.
And you know, it's obvious when you have someone that's that successful, something along the line is going to prompt you to figure out like how to get into that group of discipline. So I think over the last decade, just working within the toy scene and all that type of stuff, he's gotten this eye, and so he'll approach artists to work together. But to be honest, like once he engages the artist, he leaves it up to the artist to determine how they want that project to go. He doesn't really step in too much because he's busy like running 80 different projects at a time,
Right.
probably, right?
Wow.
So his hands-off approach is actually very welcome if you are an artist that can.
He's got to trust you.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he once told me, it's like, look, if I approach you to do a project, you don't need to prove anything to me afterwards, because the fact that I'm approaching you means that I think that it'd be great to work together with you. So I think that's kind of a load off, because you're not sitting there trying to create something for Kid Robot and try to impress someone internally at the same time. You're just doing it. This is a representation of your art. How does it coalesce together, and then put it out there for the collectors to buy. So
Awesome.
yeah. But
Well,
after this project, Kaiju's the next thing.
Cool.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I'm working on some kaiju concepts right now, and that's fun because I've always loved monsters and things like that. But I never thought I had something to contribute in that realm.
Like, so like the entire Safubi kind of, or Japanese soft vinyl thing is that what you mean, or?
I think saying sofubi is probably like just a blanket term to talk about the monsters, things like that, because sofubi really refers to just the vinyl, right?
Right.
The Japanese vinyl. But I think I'm like leaning towards doing more detailed sculpts, which a lot of the sofubi does have, instead of distilling it down. Like a lot of the designer toy stuff is very distilled and everything, and I've seen a lot of the new sofubi that has a lot of detail actually in it, and the paint applications are gorgeous. So I think that type of direction would be interesting to go in, without doing like a super run like McFarlane Toys, where it's PVC plastic, it's super sculpted,
Right.
super detailed. I mean, the cost would be astronomical if you're doing a low run, but sofubi affords artists the opportunity to do something that's pretty realized and affordable for the collectors, and then be able to like branch out and do some interesting things with what they want to do in their work.
Do you have plans on working with anyone specific, or is that like NDAs kind of stuff for them?
Kind of NDA stuff.
All right.
But I mean, there's a lot of producers I would want to work with. I mean, when I first got into the scene, there was like a lot of people that I
Wait.
would like to work with.
Wait.
Yeah.
Where's the pencil and paper at?
What pencil?
Oh, where?
You're supposed to write it down.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
There's paper right
I'm just
behind
kidding.
you. There's
So,
paper right behind you.
We started a precedent where, at least once, where if something is secret, we write it down on paper and show each other.
Oh,
We don't have to do that.
Okay.
well,
Yeah.
there is a camera right there.
I know, but
Yeah.
we just write
Yeah.
small. Write small. and do the fake out where it looks like a long name, but it's just like 2 words or something, 2 letters. But yeah.
Well, I mean, that was also me kind of like calling people out.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, but
Well, this is the thing. It's like with Giant Robot. I mean, you guys were. I think, from my perspective, you guys are known for art, fine art, and things like that. But you did delve into like designer toys at one point. It's like, how do you, as a business owner and as a pillar of this, like the art community in LA as well as elsewhere, like how do you feel the scene is going?
the toy thing. What part?
There
Which
you go.
which
the toy thing?
which I guess which aspect? You
yeah,
know?
like collectibles.
Each aspect is to me different. Sofubi is different than the resin, and then there's the custom art stuff that's looks like one-off made by artists. Right? It just seems like there's a lot of different facets, but it looks like I think it's improving. But for a while ago, it already shifted back to Asia. It seems like right. That's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where I've watched it here, I watched it go back to Asia, I watched it come back here, then it's back to Asia now. You know what I mean? It seems like in the last decade it's gone back and forth a few times. And then it's not just going back to Japan, right? Now it's in China and Thailand, and I don't know.
Yeah,
it's going to a
Thailand,
lot of other
Thailand's big, Singapore.
yeah, a lot of other
Singapore.
countries where it used to be just Japan, right? Now it's actually branching out
Or
to these
Hong
other
Kong.
countries. So I think it's strong. It's just that it's kind of building up again, and maybe it's going to rock here again too. But I think it's not something that's going to go away, right? Unless the economy crashes, it's going to be something that sticks around because the designs have gotten so good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at, I remember the first designer con I was at maybe 5-6 years ago, and there were some great people and there was a lot of bad. You know, just I'm sorry to say, whoever's listening, you're probably one of the bads. So, but now, listen up. If you're still doing designer con, you're probably really good because almost everything I see, even from people I've never heard of, are amazing. I'm just like, dude, who are you? Don't know who you are. Maybe I'm just out of the world, but yeah, the work has gotten really good on average. You know, like I'm like looking for at designer con, I don't see as much or anything that's really bad. Most of everything, I'm just like, dude, at least it's made really well. And before it was like, oh, you're molding your shit in your toilet and it looks like toilet, you know. But things
I
now,
think, you know, the democratization of 3D printing, rapid prototyping, you know, accessibility,
just skill
to
level, like
programs.
understanding what sucks and what's good, and minimum of what needs to be good is this. And I'm noticing that you know, people have gotten rid of whatever's super garbage is just gone.
Well, there's still plenty of super garbage at Designer Con. Let me assure
I didn't
you
walk.
of that.
I didn't walk around as much as you did, probably, but I just, on average, man, that quality's to me is just much higher than ever. Is what I think.
Well, I mean, like at the end of the day, it kind of becomes this balance between concept and execution, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there who are, you know, trying to, you know, work with a very unsophisticated concept.
Oh, you're talking about you're talking about the art aspect and what it means, right?
Well, yeah,
Because I know you're saying. So I see executed stuff, but I look at it and go, I wouldn't want this because I don't understand the design or I don't know where it's going.
or it doesn't communicate or speak to me or mean anything to me. Like
Yep.
I don't need another Star Wars bootleg.
That's the one part that's the hardest part is that you can make something physically, but actually having a meaning and spirit behind it, or is it
or something that says something about the artists themselves.
Yeah,
you
that's the
know?
hardest part.
I think that like
That's the key to the art. I think you. Where did you say that to me? You said that to me, and I was like, "Oh, that is totally it."
it was a couple of weeks ago, I think.
No, you said it. Come to think of it, you said the same thing.
Oh, I said it to you on Friday.
Well, yeah, and I was like, "What's wrong with this?" I couldn't understand it, and then like you said that, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh, that is the answer."
Yeah, we were talking about
holy shit,
about artwork and
something about it. I was just like, I don't understand like what this all means or what it is, and then you were able to say that exact thing. Like it doesn't say anything about the artist, or the artist isn't saying anything about themselves.
It gets into that like line between illustration and art, right? You know, like obviously, like, you know, especially in Los Angeles, the kind of artwork that you see in galleries around here, at least the galleries that I'm associated with, create a lot of very illustrative work. But just because it's illustrative doesn't mean it's necessarily illustration, you know. And just because it's, and at the end of the day, it's like, you know, does this work say something about the artist, or is it just like, comic book illustration work?
Right.
know?
That could be by a lot of people, right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Well,
it's could be done by the hand of 20 different people, and you might not even know.
Right.
Yeah.
And you want people, when you're looking at artwork, I want to believe that the reason why my work is at all,
Loved?
remotely successful, relatively successful, is simply because of the fact that like my work is a reflection of me as a person. What I'm going through, the things that I experienced, my feelings about certain things, etc. And I'm not afraid to, admit that like, my characters are metaphors for me, and, certain aspects of my personality maybe, but anyways, that's,
I don't know. When you explained that a little bit, I was like, so you said it in one sentence, I think. And I was like, oh shit, that proclamation is, it helped me understand it a lot better.
Right.
Because I couldn't verbalize it. And when you said that, I was like, oh, that's it. Duh.
Yeah.
So obvious.
Yeah. Well, we were also, there's just certain things about that conversation that we just can't bring.
Well, you want the paper and pen? No, just kidding.
I don't mind doing it, but like, just because it's the reason why you brought me on to do this podcast, because I'm not too afraid to call things out, but let's not, we'll talk, we could talk about it more in depth later on.
Oh, so back to toys.
Yes.
Was my, I don't know if my answer was in any way explained anything to you, but I just think the toy thing's stronger than before in general, and I think there's way more people doing it. But I like the fact that I think the overseas stuff is so popular. It's also interesting. Like at Designer Con, there's lines for certain toy makers. That's wild, That's cool. That's just like art, It's like they're rock stars in their own world, and I know that it seems like they're making a ton of cash from what I hear, so it's kind of amazing.
This is the type of thing you think you would do again with Giant Robot?
Toys?
Yeah.
I would like to, but man, I feel like I'm so far off of it. But no, I would definitely be into it. Yeah, I support it 100%. I think it's a really rad thing, and that's why I even do Designer Con. I like being near that. I don't even make toys, but I love being near that. It's rad.
You guys made the Giant Robot vinyl piece.
Yeah, that was with Good Smile Company.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we made a lot of those. I have a lot of them.
Good Smile. Great company.
Yeah.
Great company.
Yeah, well, they do a lot of really interesting kind of Japanese licensed stuff. Like the
Nendoroid. That's that little, like, their little dude thing. I don't know what you call it. Big head and little body figures.
Yeah.
That thing's wildly popular.
Oh yeah.
How do you get to this age in the industry you're in and you call chibi big head little dude character?
Oh, I just didn't want to call it super deformed or chibi or whatever you want to call it. I didn't want to use those. I used to hate those words. So
look, you're talking to two weebs here.
You guys are weebs?
No.
Okay.
We're otaku.
I wouldn't even. I hate using that word too. I've explained to.
You do master the art of self-loathing.
Yeah, but that's nothing to do with otaku.
But you do have a lot of Gundam model kits.
But
and a lot
that's
of them.
okay.
That's otaku.
Here's my beef with the word otaku, and I'm looking forward to talking about this when
let's
Linda's
talk about
here
it
next time.
Well, let's talk about it now too.
Okay, so an otaku is a Japanese word to describe a nerd, right? You're the Japanese one among at this
Sure.
table,
Yeah.
So like, but the thing is that like. A nerd in Japan means something different from a nerd in America.
Okay, so what does a nerd in Japan mean to you?
Well, I think that like growing up in the society, in a Japanese society, where you grow, like say going to school and going to like living with the kind of Japanese social norms, just is going to be a very different experience than say living in the United States and growing up with American social norms.
Right.
Even like say language, right? What the way we arrange, words, shows how our social hierarchy, the way we emphasize hierarchy in our language. It's very the way the Japanese language arranges words in a complete sentence is different from the way American English does, right?
Yeah,
I think
same
all
as
of those
Europe
things,
too.
right? And I think
Yeah.
all of those things play play a role in the way, the social psychology of people who live in these countries. And so, a person who a nerd who lives in Japan is going to see the world very differently than from a nerd who lives in America. And just because I like Japanese, toys or Japanese, cartoons doesn't mean I know what it means to be in the mind of a nerd from Japan who likes the same things.
Okay.
And so to just sit around and go, oh, because I like fucking manga and fucking, Japanese shit, I'm a fucking otaku. It's like
I think they've appropriated the word, right?
It's changed.
Yeah.
The definition of otaku, I think in the beginning, well, I don't want to say in the beginning, but let's say in the 90s, early 90s or 90s, otaku was a person who consumed stuff like manga and, things you like, Gundam, all the things that we kind of like, all the geek stuff.
Right.
But they didn't create anything. They are just consumers. And that was what an otaku was,
Sure.
a pure consumer.
Right.
But then over time, it's flipped on its head where it's like, yeah, you're into all this stuff. You grew up with all this geek stuff, but you do make stuff. You are an artist. And then all of a sudden that also became an otaku. And I used to not, people used to say, no, I'm not an otaku because I make things, I produce things. I'm not just a consumer. That used to be like a cutting line where you could say, no, I am not an otaku there, because of this reason. Now, no, it's just everybody. It's become this big blanket term. And Takashi Murakami will say, I'm an otaku. There's congressman or something like that in Japan said he was an otaku and proud of it, and I'm like, dude, you're like an elected politician. You're not an otaku. But, it was like a proud thing. It's like to say that, but it used to be really,
because it became cool to accept the fact that you had freaking things that you were passionate about to the point where it might contradict a social norm.
Yeah, it used to be bad. Now it's not quite as bad, I don't think, unless it's bad again. I'm not sure, but it became an okay thing.
Well, isn't that one of those things about the term designer toy? It's like in the West, toy is usually relegated to the idea that it's a children's plaything, right? So there's one of those sensibilities where I think culturally in Japan, they're really inundated by a lot of this culture, right? Even blue chip companies have cute mascots and they use these cartoon characters and things like that. Sure. It permeates a lot.
Is it the fire department has it too, right?
Right.
Looks
the
like
cities have their own mascots,
Yeah.
and I think the acceptance level and its accessibility is one of those things that kind of make it part of the culture, part of the fabric. Whereas here, at a certain age, you're expected to, give up playing the video games, give up playing with toys. Now you have to focus in on other things, and you kind of leave it behind. And the ones of us that still partake in it or were fans of it, I think it's become more acceptable in the last 5-10 years. It's not uncommon to go to an adult friend's house and see vestiges of their childhood in it, right? You might see a poster from Star Wars. Here, I see this poster from Enter the Dragon, right? And this is not high art, in the general public's mind, but it means something to you, and you hang it as a piece of art because it means something to you, right?
Sure.
But it's definitely pop culture related.
Yeah.
And whether it's Enter the Dragon or if it's G.I. Joe or Voltron or something like that, I think it has that type of poignancy for the person that still continues to admire it or is still a fan of it, right?
Do you think that's generational? Did this exist, do you think, in the 60s, let's say?
No,
right?
I think it's because living was harder.
Sure.
There was a lot of blue collar.
So we're all
workers.
softies that can now have cartoons and shit
we're
on
all
our wall,
spoiled
right?
brats.
But I mean, just think. But it used to still be edgy even here. I think not necessarily a good thing, but a guy like J.J. Abrams, for example, is it just shows you a guy who probably isn't a hardcore otaku has gone to the point where he's kind of one of the strongest persons in Hollywood, right?
I wouldn't call him an otaku.
You don't think so?
Chris
I would call him
Reiniak says they were toilet casting.
I would call him a fucking nerd.
Okay. But I mean that's one of those things
Well,
where
okay,
but nerds are running
here's
nerds
another-
are running the industry though, right?
Well,
It's
here's
like it's gotten to that point.
Here's another thing, like you just got me thinking about like like talking about like America and toys and age and stuff like that. Like if you like the stuff that I collect is all falls under like this category of Bandai's Tamashii Nation stuff, and like that stuff is all freaking like the age category for these products is definitely 15 and up because there's so many swallowable.
And that shit's
things.
expensive.
And it's like the Japanese price is like 20,000 yen, which is about like $180 at like a base price. Like essentially, the Japanese companies saw, acknowledged, and produced products for people of that an older age group,
right?
Who, meanwhile, in the United States, we're still struggling with you're fucking 18 years old, better stop wearing your diaper and put on your big boy pants.
But who's saying that stuff?
Well, I'm just fucking like exaggerating.
But like, what kind of person is saying? There are people that say that. Are you telling? These are just not our friends. That's.
Well, I mean,
and they have no idea.
Like, I'm from North Carolina, so like being here in LA, it's like a cusp of being in front of a bunch of different cultural like opportunities. You get exposure to a lot of things, right? But like, quite honestly, if you're talking about somewhere in the middle of West Virginia or in Arkansas, like toys are the last thing you got to think about.
Yeah.
You're trying to get like and keep your job. You might not have that much education, which is, could be your fault or not your fault. It's just maybe the sentiment, or maybe there's not a lot of encouragement and things like that. I think what we indulge in or are able to indulge in is really kind of a luxury to some, and they don't really like entertain the idea of that being part of their life in the way that we've made it.
But also like it's part of your life, but this is a living. This is a career. It's more than just a little hobby thing.
We happen to be artists / like purveyors of stuff.
But I mean this this is like a thing though. This is an actual category or career path if you want to make it.
Now it is, but you remember when we were growing up?
No, absolutely not.
No, there's no way. There's no way you could be a video game tester, right?
You could be a tester
or a professional player.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Like I remember being in kindergarten and wondering, it's like, who designs these things?
Yeah.
Like, how do I design toys? It's like there was no design program for toys, and Otis here in LA was the first school to offer that toy design program, right?
Yeah.
I think one of our colleagues, Mad, out of Kansas, he was one of the first in the graduating class, like the first graduating class of Otis in that degree program. Cool. But in the 70s, there's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, you're already trying to figure out like how to assimilate somehow into a predominantly non-Asian culture. You're straddling the line between being Asian and having a Western upbringing, and your choices in a way with a young person's mind are fairly limited. Like you're going to go more conventionally is what I'm saying. But nowadays you've got a bunch of kids who think that streaming is going to be their profession, right?
Sure. Instagram, all those things.
Yeah,
right?
like I'm going to be an influencer.
Yeah.
It's like, who are you influencing? Like other influencers?
No
Everyone's
one.
an influencer.
Yeah. No one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do say that there's merit in the idea of like being someone that can be a well-spoken spokesperson who endorses the product. Like, because in all full disclosure, Linda endorses products, but even if she wasn't endorsing the product, she'd be using them regardless.
Right.
And her dream culmination is like, if Bandai works
we're
with her,
we're talking about Linda Lee, right? So
yeah.
We're just so you guys know.
Yeah. So like she flew out today to go up to Bandai Namco, right? Mm-hmm. And they make video games, and they're releasing a game called One Piece, which is based on the manga, right?
Yeah.
But she loves One Piece, and for her to have that coalescing of, hey, they want me to go on to this show, talk about this game of a property that I really love already, I mean, that's the dream. But it's not like she fell into it. There's other factors that come into it. But my point is that a lot of the opportunities that are available for today's youth were not necessarily there for us. And it seems like a lot of these young people are really wanting to coalesce everything that they love together and hope to make a living for, with it, which is,
of course, I mean, like, you
right?
see like people, quote unquote, influencers on the internet making stupid amounts of money just from making a post. I mean, like, of course that's like, and it just seems so simple because you make posts,
right?
You know what it you put a little text, throw in some hashtags, put in a pretty image, post it, and like to be able to like, once you hit that post button and get a check,
boom.
that's the fucking dream, right?
That's the easiest job ever, I think, but you have to get there.
Right.
That might take a lifetime of work or luck or something, right?
Well, I mean, like luck is.
I'm interested in hearing what the conversion is, though. Like you see those Instagram posts and they're like hawking herbal green tea or something.
What about Firefest? There was some conversion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, that's the outlier right there, right? For me, because I'm like,
Yeah.
you're just reading the specs on Fire Festival and what you get, and then how much your cost would be. I'm like, in my mind, immediately, it's like, who would pay for this shit?
Oh, that's the thing that's the part I love about it is people did pay for it and they went and they were like all bummed, and that makes me smile. Like I'm watching going, you guys are a bunch of idiots. Or was your
Schadenfreude?
What's that?
You love like delighting in other people's misery.
Not those people's misery.
I do.
Because they
Yes.
listened to they believed in that hype, right? They bought into the social media and the influencer posts. They bought into it, and I'm like, how stupid can you be, right? So watching that makes me, I admit I kind of enjoyed their failure.
Well, I think this current generation, it's like one thing that I think marks them like much more differently than our generation is like their need for immediacy. Like I don't feel like they understand the extent of how long it takes to make progress in something that you endeavor for.
It might be a lifetime.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
And which is, it's no fault of theirs because they grew up with Google being able to search for literally anything in the world. Like,
Yeah,
in
and-
Dragon Ball Z, they have the scanners. That's what our phones are. They're scanners. And we have like the world's most powerful computer in our pockets. So if you get groomed and you're using Google, and do you really need to know the quadratic formula, or can you just use your phone, which is ubiquitous now?
What do you mean the quadratic equation, bro?
Someone is a math weeb.
Calculus BC. Calculus BC.
I'm sorry. What is it, like b squared plus or minus the square
A squared
root?
equals B squared equals C squared?
No, that's not it.
No.
No.
No, it's b squared plus or minus the square root of 2ab plus.
4AC, I think, or is it
I
minus
don't even
4AC?
remember.
I believe it's minus 4AC. But
How many
and it's
Asians
over
does it
and,
take
and
to
over
recite the
and isn't it-
quadratic
right.
equation?
And it's over
My
2
brain doesn't
something.
work anymore.
But it's also got a fraction. It's over 2 AC, I believe. I can't remember. Sorry, I blew it.
If we only had these ubiquitous devices at
Yeah,
our,
back to that.
But see, that's the thing. So we're trying to figure this out
Yeah.
because of the sake of knowing it. But like, it's like a report, right?
Right.
Like if a teacher assigns a report, they're like, hey, give me a report on the blue whale. Back in the day, we'd have to use a Dewey Decimal System. Go to the library,
Yep.
search the blue
Encyclopedia
whale, Encyclopedia
Britannica.
Britannica, look up like references, have 3
Encyclopedias.
notations, right? Citations.
Yeah.
But is there a point to that anymore? Or is it just the act of having to go through the...
Now you have Wikipedia.
Right. I mean, like, do
It's
you
already
really
done.
need to know about the blue whale, or should you maybe have it be relative? Like, what's the blue whale's role in
Right.
in the ecosystem? Is that a better, like, premise, right, for kids to learn? I think when it comes to...
I said
Luke is showing us...
minus 4AC over 2A. God damn it. I was really close. And you were too, actually.
What did I say?
We were right there.
Oh, really?
Well, I said minus. You said plus, and I said minus
It's
4
plus
AC.
or minus, right?
No,
Oh,
but-
minus 4 AC.
Yeah, I knew
Yeah,
that
it's,
part. You said plus.
negative B plus or minus the
but
square root of B
over
squared
2A.
minus
Okay.
4AC over 2A.
Oh, man.
Well,
shame.
now, this is the big question. What does it do?
See, that is the
Is this a
part.
God particle? Did we discover the God particle?
I think it charts a curve on a graph.
Wait, what is that again? Quadratic equation. I forgot. I
But
no longer remember.
The point is, it's like I think
Yeah.
that these young people just have this immediacy that's part of their.
We just proved it, by the way, by
Yeah.
looking at this.
Well, I mean,
Wikipedia
I don't
entry.
doubt that these devices are there
Oh,
and it's
sure.
like super functional, right? I couldn't live without it. I was watching like a rerun of Friends the other day, and Joey was lost in the UK in London. He pulls out this map that he unfolds,
Sure.
right? And I'm like, oh shit, when was the last time that I saw that happen in real life? That someone pulls out like a Rand McNally map to try to find out.
Well, doesn't I think AAA? If you go to AAA,
Yeah.
they still give away maps, so you can see it there.
It's good to have one of those things once the internet breaks.
Yeah.
So you
And as evidenced by today's like Instagram and Facebook outage.
Oh yeah.
I mean, how reliant are we on these things? And so it's no wonder that the kids these days just don't have, I think, the same fortitude when it comes to wanting to get to where they want to go in their minds.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't blame them for that. They just have not been groomed to have like these little tests.
Well, I guess I figure anyone of this age that we're talking about, what is it, 20, 25 or something?
Millennial.
They all grew up with the internet, right? So I
Right.
grew up without the internet, as probably both of you did, right? There was no internet, so we probably with that upbringing's what we're the last generation of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of part of it, that we can actually say this without being too crusty sounding.
Well, I mean, it
You know, I
also
don't want to be
goes
like
back
that
to-
guy. We're these old guys going, no.
It's like
We
what we
know
were saying
better,
about the
but-
collectibles too,
Yeah.
though. Like it was our generation that first came up watching Saturday morning cartoons that also had a lot of merch
Oh yeah.
being easily available.
Right.
I mean, there were cartoons maybe in the late '60s and things like that, but like the offerings, especially
the
when
merch.
Star Wars
Well,
came out,
especially plastic. When plastic, it's not just tin shit, right?
right?
Tin shit. It's not just tin.
Right.
It's the plastics is what did it too.
Like Shogun Warriors in the late '70s.
Yeah.
But then it was really, I think, seminally Star Wars.
Sure.
Oh, of
You
course.
walk into that display for the first time as like a 7 or 8 year old.
Yeah.
You see the vehicles, you see the figures, you see like just the actors' faces on the card backs.
And then when you flip the figure back, you see the catalog of all the
Of
Yeah.
the other stuff you can hope to get like
Yeah.
at your birthday or Christmas.
Sure.
If you're a Chinese family, it was one more time, in a year.
You know what? I grew up getting no Star Wars ever. I never had Star Wars toys. It was a bummer.
What did you get?
I had the metal Japanese shit. Oh.
Hey, you're not the only one, son.
Yeah, that's all good. But I had no Star Wars, unfortunately, though. Yeah.
I only had a little.
I
bit.
coveted it though. I used to see, you go to school and you see the kids, and they'd bring it to school, and I'd be like, "Oh,
For show and tell.
or just to show at lunch." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I would be like, "Oh man, I didn't have any Star Wars stuff."
You're like, oh man, I wish I had that Han Solo. All I have is a Daitetsugen.
It was like that. It's like, oh, I've got Mazinger Z that has missiles, but you have little Han Solo plastic guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nonetheless,
But I mean, you didn't like grow up with living here. You didn't have like we had Transor Z, which was Mazinger Z, but like it wasn't that as popular and like in your face and whatever as
no,
say
it
Star
was,
Wars
it was secret shit, man.
Oh, I mean, but that's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
as a kid, you didn't know necessarily the difference between it being designated as Japanese anime versus other cartoons. You just knew it was drawn differently, right?
Yeah.
But
Well, I knew it was Japanese.
I mean, that's because you're
bro.
Japanese.
Yeah, I know. I was Japanese.
So your Japanese radar went off.
Yeah. So
You're
I-
like,
Yeah.
oh man, that's one of ours.
Yeah, exactly. The DNA thing.
Yeah.
I felt it. Yeah.
But there was no kid that came out of like this late '70s unscathed without knowing something like Gatchaman, Star Blazers, which is Yamato,
Yeah.
Transfer Z or Mazinger, and then Go Lion and Voltron. I mean,
Well, even then,
even
like-
Kimba, the White Lion, right?
That's 60s though, isn't it?
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
an Astro Boy
Yeah.
and then
There's
Tetsujin 28.
later iterations, but yeah. Yeah, sure.
But all of that, you just kind of knew that, this is just drawn differently, but I still like it.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of whatchamacallits. I've been there's a YouTube channel called Toy Galaxy that I watch once in a while, and they'll go and like talk
That sounds
about.
nerdy, dude.
Oh, it's super nerdy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's super
Galaxy of
nerdy.
toys.
Yeah, but like no, they'll talk about like licenses that like existed in the United States that kind of disappeared just as quickly.
Right.
And like and they'll talk about like the roots of like certain like say like Transformers in the United States and versus Transformers in Japan and but like where was I going with this? I'm fucking retarded today. I'm sorry. I've been inhaling paint fumes for the past 3 days.
For
So
the past 14 years.
Luke was about to say this most profound thing ever.
Yep. And then my brain just said
it just turned into mush.
yep.
Exactly.
It's been a
It's
long
one of those
week.
Luke Chu moments. You ever notice when Luke tells a story, there'll be sometimes this longer pause than normal.
Like
That's what just
Oh.
happened here. But he lost it. It went beyond. He's like, well, fuck, and then all of a sudden, damn it! Lost it. We've all been there. It's a Chueism right there.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But no, actually, in relation to what you're saying about otaku culture and things like that, I mean, we're actually in the golden years right now of seeing everything, like literally everything that we loved as kids, being treated with a measure of dignity and respect. You know, like whether it's a Marvel,
Yeah.
like a Marvel movie,
Sure.
Anime is like bigger than it's ever been
Well,
in
look
this
at
country.
look at Star Wars, the old property from the 70s, right? Basically, it's billions of dollars. I'm not saying it's better, but it's billions of dollars now. You know, giant.
Now all they have to do is bring back like Indiana Jones and Goonies.
Didn't Indiana Jones already come back at least once with
Oh yeah, that fucking Crystal Skull one was fucking
Yeah,
garbage.
that was not very good.
Oh, you mean make it come back good? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah, I could see them like like restarting it. Like we'll probably have to wait for Harrison Ford to die. I mean that's not.
I mean, there were
a couple
rumors that
years.
Chris Pratt would like take over the role of Indiana Jones. I think he's got the swagger.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
yeah, I guess.
Dude.
I wouldn't want to see that.
that's Star-Lord, man.
Yeah, and Star Lord just stay Star Lord. Actually, speaking of which,
It's Parks and Rec.
last week we saw
Captain
whatchamacallit,
Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Oh,
Did you
saw
see it?
I have not seen it.
Oh, let's
Yeah.
spoil away then. Join me in this adventure.
So wait, let's get back to it for a second. Captain Marvel. There's a Marvel comic called Captain Marvel,
Yes.
and then what's the other one? Shazam is Captain Marvel. I'm so that
It was
thing,
owned by Fawcett Comics, and his
Fawcett,
name was Captain Marvel.
right?
I believe that Fawcett was acquired by either DC, I think DC,
And it became Shazam,
but there's probably some sort of copyright because Marvel used to be Timely Comics.
right?
So there's probably some sort of like ownership type of structure where like he was called Captain Marvel for quite a while. His name wasn't Shazam. That was what he said in order to transform into Captain Marvel.
And okay,
But now I think colloquially, he is now known as Shazam. You know?
so if you say the word enough, you become that word.
I
kind
guess
of,
so.
right? Yeah,
So eventually I'll become fuck.
I'll become shit. Well, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So okay, tell me about this movie.
yeah. Actually,
Wait, also it's a woman, right?
right.
Wait,
Well,
hold on a second.
how did
are you
Captain-
are you a fan of the Marvel movies?
Some of them.
Do you watch them like wanting to know the bigger story, or do you just
No.
watch them when they come on Netflix?
I watch them individually. So
But,
like meaning I don't understand all. I kind of know the Avengers stuff. You know what I'm saying? I know some of it, but this Captain Marvel thing, I'm lost. I'm in the dark on. Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I have a Captain Marvel comic that's from like 1960 or something, but I don't know what
The
fuck.
Marvel Captain Marvel
I
or
think
the
so.
DC Captain
I
Marvel?
think it's a Marvel one, but
Is it a?
It's old as fuck.
It's a dude though, right?
It's a dude.
Yeah, that
so-
was the original Captain Marvel.
Yeah. So now Captain Marvel now is a female.
Do you want spoilers? I know it's a little bit
Let's
late.
get into the comic book.
I'm so
history of
confused
it,
as to
'cause
what's going
You
on.
know this way better than I do.
Did
I
you
mean-
read, you read all these comics?
Yeah, like dude, when I was a kid,
You
like,
read Captain Marvel that's a woman?
Well, I didn't read that one. I read the actual Captain Marvel that was a dude for a while.
Right.
Um,
That's a junky comic, wasn't it?
but you know what? I
I was right.
No,
Yes.
you know, this is the thing.
I remember it being a piece of
Iron
shit
Man,
comic.
Captain America, Hawkeye, all these big names.
They were all kind of.
They're all junky.
Well, Iron Man was okay, wasn't he? As a comic.
Well, personally, for me, I wasn't a big fan
Well,
because
X-Men was badass and Avengers
X-Men
were
was
good.
the one.
FF was good. If you're into
Oh, I
Fantastic
love
Four was good.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah, these are the big ones. I thought.
I
And
love
Spider-Man was always big.
Inhumans. No, Spider-Man.
Inhumans, you were going back to junk again, though, right?
Watch your tongue, young man.
We're going back to junk, but
No, dude, Inhumans. Like, I also had this thing for like the designs as well. He was all in black with this like little tuning fork on his head for Black Bolt. You know, he didn't talk. His power was his voice.
wait, is this an Inhumans guy?
Yeah, he's the king of the Inhumans.
Oh man, I didn't read that one. That was just a
I
junk.
didn't-
That was one of the junk comics.
I was an X guy.
Well, yeah.
So you read all of it. That's amazing.
I mean, my parents were not like going to indulge. I have 3 brothers, so like, they're like, you either go outside and play in the hot ass sun in North Carolina during this sweltering summer,
Or read comics.
or stay inside and read. And I was like, you know what? I think I want to choose the latter.
Awesome.
Because this black ass hair is going to get super hot in the,
So you read
in the
comics.
outside. Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
And they were cheap. You know, you go to a long box at the flea market, pay $1 and get 10 comics, you know? So I would just pick out what the covers, the ones that look cool on the cover. But to my point before, like these heroes were not very A-list.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the movies made them
Sure.
A-list, I think.
Right.
Like no one when I was growing up was like, let's play dress up, let's play superheroes. I'm going to be I'm going to be Captain America.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
That was kind of a piece that he was not a good character to be. Not first choice.
Plus, like
Not
no
top
one would
flight.
want those type of swashbuckler boots back in the day. Remember he had those red boots, bright ass red boots.
Oh, yeah.
And then they sort of fold over at the top. you know? But when you're talking about like X-Men and stuff like that, for sure. I mean, I think that was a little bit more our steez because we grew up kind of more so in the 80s and the 90s, and that's when things got angsty, you know? And I think that was a very good kind of example of what we were going through as well, being adolescents coming into young adulthood. Like the stories were a little bit more meaningful to our generation. Like no one can forget when Jim Lee took over X-Men and the way that he drew them. And then you had like Gambit and Rogue and Cyclops and all these guys. It's awesome,
I was kind of. What year was that? I think
It was like in the late 80s, early 90s.
I think I got out of comics right around there, like before that even.
Is
Actually,
that's before you turned 50, right?
I got off of comics before then, but yeah.
Yeah. But now that we're seeing these movies being done in a way that really respects, I think, the source material or the ideal behind them, it's like a golden age for things,
Yeah.
Like Luke and I went to a Dragon Ball Z premiere at like the Chinese theater.
Yep.
We went to a Gundam premiere here in LA.
Yep.
We went to some other one, right? Like some sort of anime related event.
Um,
But is it because also we're talking about the creators or the directors behind these projects who are actually fans of it, right? That's the difference. They're not just hired guns. They're sort of like folks that might be, they have a viewpoint of these comics or these
I think
these
it has
stories.
less to do with the creative side. I think it has to do with our peers that grew up in the same,
Sure.
age group.
Yeah.
That went into the business side.
That's what I'm saying. That too.
They
They
have the
running. They're
ability
running
to greenlight.
They're running the industry, man. It's just
Yeah.
like all the skateboarders that became politicians. Now there's skate parks everywhere. Stuff like that. It's like, oh, they became of age and decided, okay, we're gonna pull the trigger on things that we really like, that we grew up with.
It's kind of mind blowing to think that, like, while we're sitting here and we're doing this podcast, right? There's someone at Google that's probably making like $40 million a year that also knows the Konami Contra code.
I don't know it.
You know what? How do I get up?
Konami. What?
I thought we were going to talk about nerd stuff tonight, Luke. Instead, you brought me to this grandfather's house. It's a beautiful house, by the way. Beautiful
Konami
house.
Contra.
Mid-century modern. It's very nice.
Konami Contra. What is
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Is that a
It was
game?
Konami code,
Oh,
the
yeah.
infamous Konami code.
What year was that though?
90.
Oh,
No,
okay.
earlier than that.
Did you know I work for Video Games Magazine? So I would.
Which
know.
game? Which game
It's
magazine?
called Video Games. Do you know it?
What was it about?
Video games? Come on now. It was owned by Larry Flint. It was a Larry Flint magazine. It was during the, it was like a competitor.
What did you do there?
I was a writer, man. I reviewed games and I was a writer.
And you do not know this Konami code.
The Konami code. No, I
The
don't.
up,
You
down,
already-
down, left, right,
Oh,
BA.
But what did that do? What game was that for though?
Contra.
Contra.
No, I didn't know that code.
What were you playing? Zaxxon?
I played Texon as a kid. I know that game.
As a kid?
Yeah.
Like what, 34-year-old kid?
Zaxxon, man. That's an arcade game in 1980.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isometric by Sega.
You're right. It is isometric, come to think of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like Crystal Castles and Qbert.
Sure,
Yeah.
I played those games too.
Yeah. As a young adult. But the point is, it's like the people that are in charge, whether it's in Hollywood, whether it's in other places of business, that can greenlight these things, I think affords people like us to have the opportunity to be around it more. I think the more that you're around it, the more that there's justification to help support the industries, like making products out of it, creating shows out of it, extending like new stories for these heroes, right? Because like Super 7, Brian Flynn, right? He's been around the scene for a long time. He did Super 7. He was doing a lot of Sofubi type of stuff. He came out with some really cool designs with the artists that he worked with. And then eventually he went into doing like other projects with licenses like He-Man, right? And now he does these beautiful He-Man figures. And if you're ever a fan of He-Man like I was, were you guys a fan of He-Man?
I wasn't a He-Man guy.
I wasn't a He-Man guy.
See, I love the fantasy aspect, right?
You just like big muscular men. That's cool.
I love them, especially with
for it.
loincloths.
Yeah, no, we
You
know.
They know what to protect and when not to protect. And that's the loins need to be protected.
Well, no matter what, a schlong doesn't get muscular, but the calves and thighs will get all buff, but you can't make a cock stronger, so you got to protect that shit.
Well, that's why you can't miss Schlong Day.
Yeah, got it.
All right?
You got to put a little weight on it.
But Luke is over here. His face is like beet red. It's the guy that says fuck like every other word. He's like laughing at the word schlong.
I know.
Well, no, I'm just thinking of Schlong Day.
You know, there's calf day. There's
You
quads.
can't miss it, dude.
Quads day.
Don't just work out your arms.
Yeah, there's balls day and schlong day.
Yeah.
You know?
But
Yeah.
like these figures that he's doing are like throwbacks to the original ones, but done with today's manufacturing's like affordances, right? But when you think about it, how many new He-Man fans are being created every day, though? Not
very
many, because there's not a current show.
Right.
There might be a comic, I'm not sure, but like I'm just saying, it's not necessarily in the public's awareness the way that a Marvel movie is, right?
Sure.
But they're still taking the time, the effort to develop, to create these figures for a specific subset
Sure.
of people.
Sure.
And you know why? Because these people can also buy them. So
Yeah.
when you have some banker, he's on Wall Street and he loves like Orko or like Beastman from He-Man. Like that was the first toy his dad ever got him. And now he can still procure it
Just in a different
and
form.
have it.
Gotcha.
And that might be the only one he has on his desk
Sure.
in his like,
Well,
office.
same thing we're talking about is just the soul of Chogokin. It's the same type of thing, right? Those
Now
are-
you're talking my language.
Yeah, how much are those like? I had the Mazinger one, but how much are there's so many new iterations of it. How many?
They go from 120 to
There's more.
300.
Yeah, like some are
something
300, right?
each.
They're like deluxe boxes and big.
Yeah, they're huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Who's that for? That's not
this
for.
That's
motherfu-
for
this
us.
motherfucker.
But that's not for a little kid.
ruined
No.
me.
Yeah.
I did not ruin you. You just came over to my house. That's all you did.
Introducing me to like all these beautiful like Japanese deluxe metal toys and fucking
Sure.
Masterpiece Transformers. I never even heard of Masterpiece Transformers until I fucking went to North
Damn.
Carolina and hung out with this fucker.
There you go.
Next thing you know, it's like
That's how it works, man.
I gave you an EVA unit. A Solo Chogokin. Like
you
one
did
of
give
the
me
EVA.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
You gave me.
And when you feel that heft in your hand,
yeah,
there's qualifiers as you get older, obviously. Because as a kid, you're just happy to get anything, right? Unless it's something that you already have and your parents just didn't know, and you get that shit again. And you're like, fuck, right?
Yeah.
But as an adult, there's the quality, the workmanship, and plus you have like years of built-up memory towards why you love this character so much, and when it's represented so lovingly and so carefully by a manufacturer that seems like they put a lot of care into it, you can't help but you covet it. It's a different type of coveting than just not having it. It's that you see everything about it that you appreciated and someone else did too.
Gotcha.
Because, as kids, we don't really commiserate with other kids with a lot of things, in that way. Like, we might share experiences like watching Voltron. But, like, having that toy is like, you're just happy to have something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you were young, as a young Japanese kid, right? Like you said, everyone else has Star Wars and you have these toys. I was
Yep.
the same way. I had Japanese toys growing up. And so that never left me. I was collecting all my life, essentially. Like, I didn't even go to my prom. I was at Toys R Us that night.
Oh my god.
That's no joke. Because I was like, this is in the like super early 90s. I was like, fuck that shit. I'm going to go hunt for toys. And I did. I never regretted it. Like, I'm not one of those guys that's like, maybe I missed out on something. Nope. I got.
What were you getting? Or were you talking about just getting like Marvel figures? What kind of stuff?
You really know nothing about toys, do you?
Nah.
No.
Which one were you
It's like
trying
a
to
toy
get?
hunt. You go out.
You're trying to get the I Want to Eat Your Brain. Is it the Venom? I Want to Eat Your Brain. Was that what? Remember that toy? It
Yeah,
talked?
the one that. Yeah,
And
it
then
was
it-
recalled.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it said I Want to Eat Your Brain. You didn't think I knew that, huh? But I know toys. That's why.
Oh,
Yeah.
Actually, it was recalled because it came with some slime that could have been a choking hazard.
No, there's no slime in that. No, there's not.
Was there not?
No, there's not.
Are you sure?
Yes, 100% sure, because I have that toy.
I want to eat your brain.
Yeah.
But it was recalled.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the Toy Biz.
Yes, it was Toy Biz.
Yeah, that was the Toy Biz series for X-Men, which was funny enough. Like Avi Arad, one of the first producers of Iron Man, one of the only producers of Iron Man. That's how he got his start, is with Toy Biz.
No way.
That's
Wow.
Yeah, he ran Toy Biz, so and they became a Hollywood producer.
Wow.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. Wow.
Yeah.
You are a toy geek.
No, but yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, I'm impressed too.
Oh no, me and Luke, a typical like hangout. You want to go to Frankenstein's?
Oh yeah. Well,
You want to go to Frankenstein's?
you've been to Frankenstein's before, haven't
I've
you?
never been to Frankenstein's.
Oh my God! Where did you bring me, Luke?
I've never been to Frankenstein's.
Frankenstein's is kind of like
You have toys all over this place.
But I've never been to Frankenstein's.
okay. Frankenstein's, in case you guys have never heard of it, it's basically like a big old warehouse out in the city of Industry, where it's kind of set up, booth style. And like each booth will either have, secondhand stuff, or they'll specialize in a particular kind of genre of toy, whether it's like action figures, Japanese toys, baseball cards, video games and stuff like that. It's kind of like, the way I used to describe it was, it's like San Diego Comic-Con without like the sexy cosplay bits.
And that's been going on from, I remember it from the 90s for sure. It existed in the 90s. Yeah, it existed in the 90s.
Yeah,
I never went, but I knew it was going on in the 90s.
It's super cool, especially if you have nothing to do on a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's only open on Wednesday and Saturdays.
Okay.
Yeah, so
What they do the rest of the time, I have no idea.
So it's open on
I have
Wednesday?
no idea either.
Like
Yeah.
only Wednesday.
Only Wednesday
Only
and Saturday.
And what are the hours on a Wednesday? Like 10
The
a.m.
Wednesday are from 3, like 1 or 2 in the afternoon until
Like
9
nighttime?
until 9 at night.
Wow. I didn't
And
know
then
that.
on Saturday it's like 9 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon.
We should go sometime, Eric.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to go.
Oh, it's really cool because honestly, when we go toy hunting, like another instance of me going with Luke to do something, it's like, what do you want to do? I don't know. You want to go to Japan? Okay.
When's the last time you went to Frankenstein's, though? Before we leave that topic.
Not too long ago.
And what did you get?
I think it's more like browsing. At this
Okay.
point, like in or collecting, like us collecting, you're not really looking for anything in particular unless it's brand new.
Right.
But sometimes you might go there and see something that you have not seen before. Someone brings in from their old collection. Like, I remember going to Alhambra, and remember I was telling you that store behind the theater?
It's
behind
actually it's
Nucleus?
behind Nucleus, yeah.
Yeah. I saw this Gundam toy, not the model, but it was actual toy, a deluxe kit of the Shinmusha, which is like a samurai version of the Gundam. And it was literally right before I was about to bounce. And I said to Linda, I was like, wait a second. And it was just tucked away behind some other boxes. Pulled it out, and I was like, holy shit. I've been looking for this piece for a while. It was not on the top of my mind. Like, I wasn't there to hunt for that piece, but I knew at some point in my collecting history I was going to, like, want to try to get it. And it happened to be there. I asked the dude, it's like, how much do you want for it? He's like, I can do 185. I was like, done. I was willing to pay like 300. But 185 for that piece, and I got it for Linda. She's super stoked. But that's what toy hunting is about. It's just going out. It's like how our parents' generation might have gone out to look at antiques.
Maybe not mine parents, but okay. Your
Well, I
parents
mean, my parents either, but I'm saying that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
cultural,
yeah,
like,
white
Gotcha.
people.
I understand.
the Quilo.
Yeah, white people.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you, but
It is seems like
but
a
white
very
people
Caucasian
love
type of thing.
love
to do.
antiquing.
Antiquing.
Oh, the word
Yeah.
antiquing?
Chris and Amanda, Chris Reiniak and Amanda Spade.
Yeah.
When I was in Ohio, for their wedding, like they took me and Linda antiquing.
Oh yeah.
I have to tell you, it was pretty freaking rad.
Oh yeah. There's some great stuff. I've
So did you like yell the word antiques?
Why?
I don't know, because Luke would just do it. Just antiques.
antiques.
See? He,
Well, that's true. That
he
is
does that
great.
word so well.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm familiar. I am familiar with the art.
So what are
of
you
antiquing.
buying, like used ashtrays, or what are you kind of getting at antique? That's like a thing.
I've
right?
gotten old antique ashtrays back
Really?
when I used to smoke like tobacco cigarettes.
Like, what do you buy?
I actually
Are you
was
buying-
for a long time. I was collecting big eye art, like
Keen stuff. Yeah. Or
specifically an
thereabouts.
artist named Lee, whose work I thought was a little bit more refined than
Right.
Keen's
But the
stuff.
big eye stuff.
Oh yeah,
But are they ever original paintings or are they always prints?
they're prints.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're prints. I actually went to an antique mall while I was in Las Vegas this past weekend because
I actually like those. So
Yeah.
I'm playing.
Oh,
dumb.
they're
I
insane
actually like
there.
those.
like there's
They're
I was
cool.
actually about to post this crazy painting that I found in at the antique mall. I'd never seen anything quite like it before. I'll show it to you guys here. But it's got this. It's a print like lacquered onto a piece of wood. It's
That
got
looks like a Piers Anthony novel cover.
Wow.
really?
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
slide a little bit to the left, you can see the close-ups that I was going to post this.
This?
No, so the other way.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it's like, what is that animal?
It's like an antelope
Is that a
or a ram.
Is that like an ibex?
That's the Goat Lord.
I don't know. Swipe,
the,
swipe.
The goat lord's sitting underneath it though. Who's the man underneath the naked?
I think that's
man?
like a Father Time kind of character. And look
Yeah.
at these kids,
Oh
like
my gosh,
smashing like
dude! That's
snakes.
This is like a scary album cover.
Right,
Yeah. Oh my god, there's like a baby. There's like a bunch of babies and an alligator.
right, yeah. And it was like $100 and something for the print. And then
Where is it? This
I-
is bizarre too. The wood frame. It's like a.
Oh yeah, and see
fucking
those little holes on the left and the
driftwood.
right? Those are mirrors. So,
So you could do your Coke right on it, and then
Alright.
look at this
I don't
crazy
know.
image.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's got Coke mirror. It's got
well,
everything.
I was as I was walking around, I was taking photographs of all the original art that I saw, like scattered around there, and kind of realizing that there's a very good chance that I might end up here, in
like
the
one
future.
day your art.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it happens.
could already be there. You never
Yeah,
know.
it could already be there.
That'd be scary.
Anyways, we should. I don't know what we can do with this, but like, yeah, this
That's
is
pretty cool.
And now it's
You're right
taking
though. Piers Anthony album cover. Yeah, could be.
You know who Piers Anthony is?
Yeah, he wrote Xanth, the Xanth series. Did
That
you
was
read those
great.
books?
Oh, I loved him.
Bullshit. You read that?
I did.
All of them?
Well, up to a certain point.
Oh, okay. No, I only read a few, but okay, that's rad.
Well, if is it still going on?
Yeah, man.
No way.
No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
Is Piers Anthony even still alive?
I have no idea. Yeah, but I know that was my junior high. I was reading some of those books. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were great. I mean, they had like kind of like a humorous take on things, a little bit like that British wit.
Is
to
he
him.
Brit- I guess he's British. I don't even know.
It just seemed a little
Yeah,
bit more
I-
quippy than
yeah.
reading something from Tolkien or something,
Yeah.
right? Like The Hobbit or
He's
whatever.
still alive, by the way.
Is he really?
Yeah,
Wow.
he's 84 years old.
I was going to say, is he 107, 74?
Yeah.
Like,
Did those, I mean, Xanth never made into movies. It was, I don't know whatever happened to those books. I kind of forgot about them until you just mentioned it.
did you read Ready Player One?
I did not read that.
I read it.
Yeah.
Oh, so much better than the movie.
The book was the first time reading the book, and going in there with an open mind and just allowing yourself to like delve into that nostalgia was great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not. I don't think it's the greatest prose ever written, but it's definitely like hardcore like nostalgia porn.
Oh, it was
for
definitely
people.
written by a guy in our age group who grew up with the stuff that we grew up with, and was also into the weird, less like kind of esoteric, I guess you could say. Am I being too loud?
No, it's okay. I just adjust the thing.
Am I cracking the?
No, you're good.
Okay, yeah, like the fact that he would like reference this weird super robot stuff that I never really kind of became conscious of until like I was 30 something, because I had forgotten it all.
I don't know his background, but it was Ernest Cline, right?
Yeah.
So part of the robot's like involvement in the story is like he referenced Leopoldin, the Macross Valkyrie 1F
Wow.
S, I think,
Cool.
the VF1S.
Yeah.
Go Lion was in it. Ultraman.
Wow.
But I think probably he had this hazy memory of seeing a certain toy, perhaps. I'm not sure how old he is, but to be that specific with Leopoldin, like was Leopoldin even released as a Godaiken?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, or at least yeah. So I mean, they it was one of the first super robots.
Yeah, but the fact that you have Leopoldin in a book fighting in a big battle with like a Valkyrie, and then you have like
And that's depicted in the movie? 'Cause
I didn't see the movie.
Okay, I didn't see the movie
It was
either.
depicted in the book, and he was fighting Mechagodzilla.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it wasn't depicted in the movie.
No,
I'm sure
they
they're like
replaced it with
licensing
Gundam.
nightmare.
I see. Yeah.
I think they used the Iron Giant in the movie as like
Yeah.
an
Iron-
analog for some of those other.
I just started seeing, when I started seeing, I was like, I can't watch this movie. Like, it just didn't appeal at all.
Oh, it sucks.
Yeah. It just looked
it's
like it was
fucking
gonna be bad.
garbage. Like I saw that movie and I just walked out there and was going, "What the fuck was this?" And then because I made the mistake of reading the book. Meanwhile, everybody else who was there, who's I
Never
knew
read
that
the
saw it, loved it. And I'm like,
Oh, wow.
the moment that they lost me was the moment that I saw the Overwatch characters in the movie.
oh yeah, yeah.
Because the movie is the premise is that there was this guy, he created this virtual world,
Oh, I see.
and he passes away, but in the virtual world there's like these challenges, and whoever like is able to unlock or beat these challenges will get the company, basically this multi-billion or trillion-dollar type of company.
Wow.
Kind of like a Willy Wonka type
Right.
of situation, right?
I see.
But all the clues and everything that lead up to you being able to beat the challenges were very, very predicated on a certain segment of time
Right.
that we all three were actually in.
I see.
Yeah, like they reference Zork, they reference
Joust.
Mm-hmm.
You know, very, very specific time frame. But then when I saw the trailer, I was like, what's this character from Overwatch? Why is the Iron Giant in this? And it seems like they, you know, obviously in an attempt to get more people to understand, you know, they broadened the scope a little bit.
Right.
And I think that's what made the book special, was
Right.
that it was that very specific slice of our childhood. Yeah.
And something about watching that made me think of some kind of Electric Daisy Carnival too at the same time, like thrown in. You know, like there's some weird raver element to it that I was just like, okay, this is for me.
You know, the book kind of goes into great lengths in explaining how people lived with this kind of virtual reality, thing, in their lives. And like, for instance, like they go into great lengths to explain, like people would have apartments where they would have these gigantic kind of like tracks on there. So when they're walking around in what they would call the oasis, they can, be in the room, not necessarily moving, but they would have the sensation of walking or whatever. And if you wanted to eat something, food would be delivered through drones to where you're living. And, so you may be eating it in the virtual world, but you're also eating it in the real world. It was and none of that was even touched upon in the movie. And then they had like scenes of people wearing VR goggles running on the streets. I'm just like, what the fuck is this? This is dumb. This is
Dumb.
taking his entire fucking vision and shitting on it. Good job, Spielberg.
Oh, Spielberg made it? Jeez.
At least they had Rush on the soundtrack.
Oh, that's important.
Yes.
Yeah.
YYZ?
Well, it was in the soundtrack?
No, it was
YYZ?
Tom Sawyer.
Oh, okay.
YYZ would have been dope.
Yeah, YYZ would have been dope.
Yeah.
I was never a Rush fan.
Or Bytor and the Snow Dog.
Rush was my first concert.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
My first concert was Kiss.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Mine was Depeche Mode.
Oh.
I know. Gay. That's what you're saying. Thanks.
Was Erasure the opening act?
No.
Pet Shop
No,
Boys?
it was Nights Are Up.
Really?
Yeah.
What year was that? Do you remember?
It was in the 1990 or 91, something like that.
Yeah, mine was in 85, I think, or 84. No. 84. I saw the Grace Under Pressure tour with Rush.
I saw the Crazy Nights tour with Kiss.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What year was that?
It was probably 1985, 86 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely when they didn't have the makeup. But
They had no makeup,
of course,
yeah.
I went to see them after they put the makeup back on. But I loved Kiss.
I
They're
hate
very
their fucking
kabuki.
music. I think their fucking music's garbage.
Their music is garbage. Except for a couple of tracks I think are very
But there's
solid.
one of those bands
I don't
that-
think there's any tracks by Kiss that are worth the fucking time.
Dude, Black Diamond, come on.
Deuce?
Deuce?
Deuce. Deuce is cool.
Yeah.
Deuce is cool.
Deuce is a
Lame.
good song.
No. Deuce is cool.
Yeah.
Lame.
But keep in, I don't think the music ever matched their makeup and stuff,
Exactly.
No, because if you listen to them now, you know what? They're not even rock music.
though. Yeah, it's
They're
like
like
I was gonna
light
say
fucking
I was gonna
douche
say-
music,
I was gonna
man.
say it's light rock, but they're
it is.
they're playing like a groovy rock, but they're looking like they should be playing a darker metal. you know?
Right. That's my fucking problem with people who say they're metal.
But even
like
that,
they're fucking metal and their fucking
I
music
don't think
sounds
Kiss
like
is
that.
a metal band though. I think.
Well,
Kiss
I mean,
is-
like metal in general, like fucking,
but,
like, you know,
like Kiss
oh
should
my
have be
God.
playing like maybe the darkest parts of Black Sabbath, but it's just faster. Like it's just so slow and it's groovy. I'm like, why you guys?
especially like Dynasty is like the disco album.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God, fucking garbage.
But the art was always cool. The Rock and Roll Over one.
Oh, yeah, that was
album
a beautiful,
What a
like-
beautiful looking album cover.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately no, they didn't. It didn't fit their makeup.
music's fucking shit.
Yeah.
Look, you know what? If you know, like any of these bands that like fell into that like headbangers ball metal whatever fucking you guys called it in the fucking 80s and whatever, like if you didn't sound like Godflesh, then you are fucking garbage.
Oh, Godflesh. Pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's what the sound of like metal music should sound like. Just grinding bass and fucking guitars and like
I love Maiden.
throaty
Maiden.
fucking music.
I love Maiden.
No, you don't. Do you really,
Yes, I love Maiden. Number of the Beast 666. Come on now,
dude?
dude.
I knew I liked Eric.
This is when I that's the stuff I grew up with. Metal. I grew up with metal.
I need to send you a link to this band called Steve and the Seagulls.
Oh, what's that?
They're like a European bluegrass group that does an amazing cover of The Trooper.
Oh, no way.
Oh, it's
Cool.
It's
Really?
It's stunning.
Wait,
dude.
I might have heard. I might have. I've watched enough of these. Like, I watched a lot of YouTube, so I might have seen that one now. I think, come to think of it. I
Oh,
wouldn't be
my
surprised.
latest tease on YouTube is like this Hoppa girl that's like 14. It sounds really bad the way I started off with
Yes.
this.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
It's her, like her parents film her and her sister, but she shreds on the guitar. Like she is ridiculous. And she just is in there, and it's like in some tiny room in Japan, and her little sister's in there and they're just goofing off. And she has this giant guitar, which is a standard sized guitar for like adults.
What does she play?
She plays, I think, like an Epiphone version of the Les Paul.
Oh, no. What music is she playing?
Everything.
Okay.
But then she
She's-
starts
She's
playing.
not the one that's playing the Dragon Force thing, right? Is that her? That's
She has
her?
glasses?
Is that the one?
Yeah.
Okay.
You saw her?
Fire in the Flames or something?
Yeah.
Fire in the Flames, and she learns it really quickly. And
Did you see her?
I saw a little bit of that.
She's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just stunning. Like there was no kid when I was growing up that can do stuff
Oh,
like
no,
that.
no.
That's thanks to YouTube.
Yeah, that's true. And
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know, who knows, video games, but it's just ingrained. Yeah. Crazy.
You know, on our way over
Wait,
here, though, speaking of video games, you were suggesting how Twitch and our podcast, like,
For this show.
yeah, what,
Yeah.
like, I don't,
I have a
do you-
Twitch account.
but like, have you like done like
Oops.
podcasting on it or anything like that?
No,
or,
I haven't.
you
But
know?
I mean,
I don't-
watch.
I have a Twitch account too, but I don't really.
So I secretly watch people play games.
Well, that's the notion, right? That Twitch is a platform.
Well, it used to be.
Yeah, but I think
that's when I was watching more gaming. Like, just I don't even play these games, and I watch these people play these games. And I'm not watching girls with boobs playing. I'm watching guys play, and they're nerdy. And
it's okay if you're into that.
yeah, I like watching these dudes play games. I don't care about the dudes, but the game playing,
Right.
I can't play those games, and
Okay.
they're amazing.
But you like to watch as a spectator.
Yeah,
like
it's-
you're,
it's
you're
like
on your
watch-
buddy's couch and you're watching your buddy play the game.
No, I'm just watching some stranger, but it's like watching sports. Like I'm like, well, going, dude.
I mean, it
I'm
is
like,
a sport
I'm
now.
rooting for some guy I don't even know to like win, so he can kill everybody in a battle royal match. I'm like, I'm like, dude, go left. What are you doing? And
Nice.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
I know Linda does a lot of Twitch kind of.
It's changed. Yeah.
Broadcasting. I mean, I don't know, like, but you were kind of suggesting, like, like you had some thoughts on like how, maybe instead of broadcasting on
YouTube, just go to
YouTube,
Twitch.
go to Twitch.
Could we
Yeah,
do that?
because
We
this is
could do
the
that.
thing. Like
Twitch
right
is
now,
cool.
I've got like our stream up right here, right?
Right.
And YouTube does allow for like live commenting. So these people have been commenting on.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh
commenting
shit!
on the
I
video.
never knew that.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't know.
on the video.
I haven't
So-
watched it.
But I think because of the types of guests that you might have on, and you like the breadth of knowledge that you guys have to offer, it'd be nice to have that type of immediate feedback and being able to address like people's questions on the fly, so that's
Oh yeah,
You know?
there are. I didn't know there were comments here. My bad. Sorry, Luke.
No,
Did you just get a computer like yesterday, like last week, yesterday?
Yeah, I feel like it. Jeez, I didn't even know this. I go to the bottom and there's comments that people can type. Like, I didn't know the chat part was on the right.
Yeah.
My
so
bad.
like it's contextual. So
Yeah.
if they comment, it's what's being talked about at the time, right?
Right.
Oh wait, this person just called you a closet weeb.
That was a while ago.
Oh.
Get with the program.
I thought that was just brand new. I was like,
That was
dude.
Chris Reiniak.
No, it's some guy named Type Blur.
Oh, that's my friend Travis.
Yeah, Travis said you're a closet weeb. So
Did you say Jesse was or I was?
no, Jesse.
Okay. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Look, he's proudly out of the closet in terms of being a weeb. Okay. I don't really care. what
Wait.
people
So
think.
what is a weeb?
A weeb? Apparently, this is a term I actually learned
A
once
weeab-
I
it's a
started dating
weeaboo.
Linda.
Yeah, it's a
because
weeaboo,
we would
right.
go to like anime cons, right?
Sure, you're in the heartland of weeaboos.
Well, please explain to me because my idea of what a weeb is just someone that's not Japanese that wants to be Japanese.
That's pretty much what I think it is too. I'm sure it's changed, but this is like the definition I knew of maybe 3 years ago.
See, my idea is
You,
this is
you might
what
have heard
they do.
this a long time ago.
They wake up, right? They crack they crack an egg into a bowl of rice and mix it up because that's their breakfast. Okay. They
little
grab
soy
a
sauce on
box
that
of
shit.
Pocky.
Do they say kawaii like 10 times though before
They run out the door with a piece of toast hanging out of their mouth.
Yeah, yeah. They ride their bike with some magical creature in the basket in the front while anime soundtrack's playing. All right. And their day consists of watching anime, commenting on anime,
Making videos about watching anime.
yes, going to Michael's to work on the anime cosplay that they've been trying to finish for 5 years. Then feel sad for themselves and then go on to YouTube or Twitch and look for waifus.
Waifus. Oh, I thought we were talking about a female this whole time. I was
same
picturing
here.
I was picturing a
I
female.
had the
but,
female
but
picture in
It's
my
now
head,
it's now a
too.
guy. So yeah.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Like waifus, husbandos, like whatever it might be. Right?
Is that a thing?
Yeah, husbandos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I'm sure.
Then they go to Ami Ami and they look to see what they can afford
See, I
that
can't
week.
be a fucking weeb because I don't even know any of this other
Yeah.
extracurricular
And
fucking
then
terminology.
They hope that the cons, like they're looking forward to the next con, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's con hopping. If the con could go on 365 days a year, they would live that life, right?
Mm.
They just want to be absorbed into that whole thing, which is totally fine. You know, if that's what you want to do, that's great. But
See, you know what you're describing is like one of my favorite kind of con kind of stories.
what's that?
And that's the I lost my virginity at the comic book convention story.
Oh, from a few years back.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's actually rooted in people that I've met that
Oh.
have lost, their virginities at
Wow, at a convention?
at like SDCC
Wow.
or something like that. And
It's become quite the meat market, I've heard.
oh well, nowadays it totally is. But the thing is, I don't think it's as good anymore because especially the SDCC because only certain people can get in, and it's kind of a lottery system, from my understand.
For
and,
Comic-Con?
yeah.
I mean, I haven't had to try to get a regular ticket for a while, but like, I think it's just if you get in line fast enough with a waiting room and you're lucky enough, then
Yeah, see, and that's the thing, it's luck. But I have like this entire scenario in my head, which, kind of plays out with the guy meets the girl, and they get along, and they go back, they party, they get to know each other for a day or two, and then they go back to the hotel, and then things happen, and then they kind of drift apart a little bit, and then they come back to the con the following year, but now the girl's got a new guy, and the guy freaks out and starts kind of screaming nerdy bloody murder, to kind of draw attention to himself because he's just brokenhearted,
So wait, this sounds like a drama.
I think
con drama.
I really should work on that narrative
Okay.
a little bit,
I was
but
like, this should be a comic or something. I don't.
maybe. I think the person I would love to see illustrate something like that is someone like, what's his name? The guy who did Scott Pilgrim or something like that.
Oh,
You know him,
yeah. What was his name?
Brian McNally, something like that.
Something like that.
I don't know.
Brian McNally. Is it McNally? Gosh, I forgot.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyways, back to Twitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that
And back to Weebs.
well, I mean, that's the thing. I think Twitch is the type of platform, which from a financial standpoint, I mean, you just get on there, you start streaming, you can reach out to your viewers.
Yeah.
They have a semblance of interactivity that allows you to dialogue. So there's that immediacy there that I think this generation of content consumers crave, rather than be just passive, sitting like for 2 hours and watching a movie. That's great, but I think they want to be part of the whole process, even if they're not creating content themselves. They want to, and Twitch has created a system like that because you can award streamers with like bits.
Yeah, or
right? Or
you can get donations.
You can get donations.
You can get subs, I guess, right?
After you reach a partnership, they have it tiered, right?
Okay,
so you have affiliate and partnerships based on
what is that based on? Is it based on follows or something? Viewership, yeah.
Concurrent viewers, as well as like maybe there's a follower threshold.
Right.
I'm not sure, but
yeah.
So there's definitely like I think it's definitely a viable platform.
Right, Luke. What do you think?
I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down. I mean, I'm wondering whether or not we can actually like stream to both YouTube and Twitch.
Well, this is the thing. So I know what
at the
Linda
same
does
time.
is
I'm not sure about that.
You can stream to Twitch. At the end of it, you can download a VOD of your stream
and then put it on YouTube.
And then you just upload it to
Yeah,
YouTube.
people do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, YouTube? You can say it better than me.
YouTube?
Or what about Twitch?
Twitch?
Now on Twitch.
That was a valiant attempt.
Thank you. I'm just I'm being put on the spot. It kind of has to come from my own enthusiasm.
Next week maybe we'll say now on Twitch.
Now on Twitch.
Yeah, like that. There you go.
And that's the other thing, is because I think with YouTube there's just so much content, right?
Yeah.
And to be able to get above, like what in the print industry, above the fold, right?
Yeah.
Who do you know?
Yeah, right.
Like how much do you have to pay, right?
Right.
But with Twitch,
who do you have to blow?
How do I get my kid into this school?
Yep.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun. We're not just one-trick ponies. We know about like what's going on in the world.
current events?
Speaking of which, what's going to happen to them? Like, what Lori Loughlin just turned herself into the FBI today. I mean, they're not. Are they going to go? They're not going to go to jail, are they?
It's a felony, dude.
Is it a felony?
Yeah, it's a felony charge.
Wow. Okay. Maybe they're going to go to jail.
Hope so.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. See, this is like where I start getting excited about like people getting busted, just like the Fire Fest.
Look up the word Schadenfreude.
I don't know what that means. Okay.
It's a German word.
I know. There's a comic called that, and I still don't know what it means.
It means taking pleasure and taking delight in other people's misery.
But it's a certain kind. Like, I don't want it. There's certain people that I don't want misery on. Just certain kind of people that fuck up like that, you know?
You mean like
Pleasure derived by someone,
A certain kind of
someone
person.
from another person's misfortune.
Yeah, but I don't
A
want
business that thrives on Schadenfreude.
if something bad happened to you, I'd be really sad and worried, and I'd be trying to fix it. But you know
what you would like?
What?
Our justice served on Reddit.
Trust me, I look at that shit.
I knew
there.
it.
So there.
I
yes.
knew it.
I look at that. Yes.
I want to add that.
I am a Redditor. So there.
Are you a Redditor?
Yeah.
So am I.
Yeah.
Yeah, same
You know
here.
what we should do? We should compare Reddit like.
Well, we've done this before.
I don't have a lot of. I mean, what subs you follow?
Yeah.
I don't follow a lot of subs, but
Let me see what subs I follow.
no, I follow MMA.
Wait, you follow what?
MMA, man, mixed martial arts.
I would have never thought you.
I'm a hard.
would be-
Yeah.
Oh,
no, I love
he's
MMA.
into
I do. It's the simple
brutality.
stuff. Los Angeles. I look at news. My subs aren't like, exciting, except for what's the other one? Delusional Artists. That one's a good one.
I just started following that one.
Delusional Artists is fun, and if you're into design stuff, room porn is always nice.
I follow.
but-
Okay, this is what I have.
I don't have a lot.
Breath of the Wild. This is a Zelda game. Cringe Picks. Darwin Awards.
Wait. You were listening. You were missing the microphone. I don't know.
Darwin Awards.
Uh-huh.
Had to Hurt. Hold My Feeding Tube. Instant Karma.
Oh, Instant Karma. Yeah.
Instant Regret.
That's always good.
Justice Served. Marvel Puzzle Quest. What's up, horny squids? That's my alliance, by the way, in Marvel Puzzle Quest. Monster Hunter World, which is another video game. But lately, my favorite is Murdered by Words.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Oh, never heard of that one.
It's basically really well written comebacks and takedowns of people.
Wow. Okay, I might like that.
Yes,
Wait,
I
mean, you're pretty good at doing that, so I think you're learning from reading those too. Yes. I also follow R Coins, and I follow CRH Coin Roll Hunters.
Wait,
What the fuck
Coins?
is that?
like actual coins?
Yeah,
Are you really a coin collector?
Not really. No, I just like looking at people's coin collections, but I don't really collect coins. I just like looking at collections, and I like looking at the history. You know, I just like design of coins.
Yeah,
The designs are amazing, right? You're talking about sculptors that once had to carve this shit. And
that's true.
Yeah, it's just like what you guys do making toys. It's like somebody had to do these for coins. It's,
Well, I don't sculpt.
It's amazing.
I'm not very good at that.
I will tell you right now, our Shih Tzu is amazing.
The dog, Shih Tzu.
Koji.
Shih Tzus are awesome.
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah, my family's in love with his dog.
awesome.
But wait.
So
we
Twitch.
Wait, we were also talking about children. Which
Yeah.
can we go back?
Wait,
Wait, you mentioned kid stuff, right? Because you said 14-year-old person who wakes up at an anime, you know, basically the weeb thing.
we were-
okay.
yeah.
But
Yep,
but
yep.
I have to go back to the fucking Michael Jackson documentary.
Oh,
And it's-
did
have you
see
watched
this
it?
yet? Did you see
No.
the?
Oh
Oh,
my
my
God.
god, it's so good.
So the second part, spoiler time.
Wait, where did you see it?
It's was it on
HBO.
HBO? Yeah, it's the second. So I watched the second part, and then it does dawn on me that yeah, they were victimized, but that one guy also testified for Michael Jackson
Oh, yeah.
as a 22-year-old, and he fucking dude, that guy should be going. He should be going to prison himself.
Yeah, for lying. But I don't think. I
Oh,
mean, that's not. I don't think it's.
He lied under oath, and he
li-
fucking freed a fucking pedophile who probably fucked more kids because this guy did not help him. You know,
Yeah.
dude, he's fucking guilty as a motherfucker. He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Is
that
he
guy.
bad?
That guy is bad too.
Okay.
Is he bad?
No,
No.
who's bad? No, he's bad.
You know what the idea, the entire premise of whatchamacallit, Leaving Neverland is, right?
Yeah.
You know, it follows
I've read
two-
about it. I've just not had the opportunity to see it because it's on HBO or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have HBO.
No, you could find it on all the.
I don't partake in illicit gray market like channels on the internet.
It's just a website. Yeah. Don't they have Reddit or something? They have like one of the recent movies, recent documentaries.
I know not
Yeah. Okay.
of what you speak.
Sure. We don't know anything.
Just keep looking.
Yeah.
Keep those eyes moving around when you're
Yep.
saying that.
Darting around.
Yeah.
Well,
Rip Pirate Bay.
yeah. It's
Yep. And Kick-Ass Torrents.
yeah.
Oh man, the best.
Oh man.
Search engine was great.
Yep.
Who
I never,
torrents these days?
I never used it, but yeah, Kick-Ass Torrents was really interesting.
No,
But yeah. But yeah, it's the Michael Jackson thing. Still haunted by it. I'm more haunted by it, but I'm kind of mad now.
really.
I went from being very freaked out and like, oh my god, like that's so fucked up. And it took I think it took me like a week of just me being very upset. Seriously, that bad. And then now I'm kind of mad at that guy. Like I'm mad at the
Which guy?
victim. I'm mad at the victim.
There was two of
Why?
them, right? There was
Because
two
he
victims.
testified for Michael Jackson and lied on purpose under oath.
Oh.
And then therefore it helped Michael Jackson get off on one of those charges, which then let Michael Jackson get
He
off
was a
on
star
more children.
witness.
He was a star witness for Michael Jackson, even though he was molested. Now he's coming out saying he was molested. But by being the star witness for Michael Jackson went free and molested more kids. Right?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. He had kids by then. He had his own kids by then.
Dude, I don't know. All bad. Either way, bad. He should be, yeah.
This is the thing, though. I mean,
He got him off
I
scot-free.
could understand to a certain degree the mentality of just like hoping for the best kind of thing, like hoping that
Pedophile goes free.
no, that he wasn't there anymore, and kind of maybe even like just taking all the pain and whatever from that experience and bottling it into himself.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of man.
I mean, like
Bad.
you
Yep.
know, like because that was the thing.
I'm gonna go pee.
Okay.
Yep.
While you guys talk about something I haven't watched.
I mean, like, there was a lot of denial.
I get it. There's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
That dude has Like if this
I
were
mean,
a
like,
D&D
you know,
game,
here's the
he took a lot of damage.
I mean, like these guys,
Mentally,
like
yeah.
you know, these guys, frickin', you know, they didn't realize that they were being victims when they were being victims
Yeah, but the dude was, I mean,
or being victimized.
he was still 22 when he did that, man.
Right.
I don't know.
And the only time,
And he knew it was happening.
and the time it really kind of dawned on him
Well, he was 30.
was when
so
he was
I know.
30 and he had a kid.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because the things started breaking down in his mind at that point, right?
Yeah,
Like
you
he
know,
started
because
realizing,
he started putting himself in in place of his own child.
Yep.
And kind of realizing like those things that happened to me were fucked up.
But then he tried to sue Michael Jackson for millions, hundreds of millions of dollars himself, and I was like, dude, what? You know?
Well, I think he tried to sue his estate. You know,
to
I
get
mean,
some
because
of
I think
that.
Michael Jackson was already dead.
Yeah,
by
he was
then.
already dead, so he was trying to get some of that Quan, man. He wanted some of that cash.
Well, you know, I mean, like when you fucking realize what what you've gone through, and you know, I mean, shit.
Yeah.
Like you know, I mean,
Yeah.
because I mean, like the way they fucking illustrated like that entire scenario, was like in my eyes it was really well done because like you know when the two victims were describing it, they didn't like like put up like, oh, I was being tortured or I was being hurt. They were admittedly saying like, hey, I was in love, and I felt like he was in love with me. Kind of thing.
Okay. Barf.
Oh yeah,
That's barf
you know,
material.
fucking Michael Jackson's a fucking pederast.
Yeah. Oh.
But
Okay.
the Moonwalker game on Genesis was really fun.
I don't think I remember a Michael Jackson game on Genesis. There was one? Moonwalker? I don't remember it. Do you remember a Moonwalker game on Genesis?
Not really. No.
Yeah.
You would spin to attack the enemies with his dance moves,
Whoa.
and then you catch a shooting star to turn into a robot.
Whoa.
So it's like Moonwalker / Captain EO.
I don't remember if there was a EO. I don't think there was a EO level, but like the different levels had different themes that are based around some of his music.
So there's like a Beat It one.
I believe so. I just remember liking to like spin and then do a little moonwalk, and then he could also flick like some sort of like
The hat.
dust, like sparkles. That
That.
No. Oh,
yeah. There was an arcade version. It was different, but yeah, there was one in Genesis.
yeah.
That video for Smooth Criminal was really good though.
Yeah, with the lean. Is that the one?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you lean forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm. If I leaned any more forward, I'd push all this shit.
Keep it accurate. Luke. Keep it accurate.
Wait. So what are your thoughts? We brought it up just briefly. Like, what are your thoughts on the entire parents, overbearing parents, and college, and the college thing?
Man.
I only caught maybe I don't know, a couple words of it because I was out of town when it happened.
I think that it is obviously it's like a pretty shitty situation in general if you're talking about like the big picture, because recently Harvard had been sued, right, by an Asian American group of that said that they were unfairly being singled out in terms of their ability to be able to be admitted to Harvard because of their ethnicity or whatever. Or that's what I think that's the gist of it.
The argument, yeah.
That there's too many Asians, maybe, right?
Yep.
But I think, though, that the bigger problem is that we are just finally seeing this type of situation brought to light because of the two famous celebrities involved.
Mm-hmm.
There's a name. I mean, there's a face.
There's
that you
like
can put onto
CEOs
this.
too, right?
And there's,
So
but
bad.
obviously they're all wealthy.
Yeah.
Like every single
Yeah.
parent there is wealthy. And I was telling Luke in the car that it's finally confirmation that there is a secret Illuminati of lizard people that run this world.
They it's only for a moment do they look like a lizard, and then it flicks back to their regular.
You had to look at their eyes in the
It's-
moonlight.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it happens.
I mean, I joke, but it's true though. I mean, and any type of influential type of situation like this, where you can get a leg up because of who you might know or your means, like say that by virtue of your wealth, it happens around the world.
But you want to know what's going to be rad next? Let's just say they do that.
Do what?
That they start paying and getting higher test scores. Asians are just going to beat it anyway. They're just going to go, oh, higher? Oh, we'll just study a little more.
But
we're going to
Asians
study a
do it
little bit
too.
more. We're going to study more, and we're going to pass those numbers. Raise the bar, man. No problem.
But that's the thing. You know right now.
Not
in
not
mainland,
me, or not Luke. Maybe you, but not us. But you know
No.
what I'm saying. The other Asians.
Mainland China, there's so much corruption, so much grafting.
Oh, I'm not saying mainland China. I'm talking Asian American.
But all the mainland Chinese are like coming to the
Yeah,
Western,
they all live in
to
fucking
Australia,
Arcadia.
to England. I live in the midst of like mainland China.
They're messing up the average score.
Yeah, like the curve. It's like, don't mess with my curve, dude.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the thing. It's just like it's not like it's a new thing. It's just like that more people know about it because it's a federal indictment, right? Of 50 different people who are all wealthy, all influential, that did this type of thing.
But it's so dumb because what is it? Is it Lori Loughlin's 2 kids got into USC? Isn't USC free? Like, I mean, not free, but it costs money. But don't they accept
can't
anybody?
anyone get to? I got accepted to USC.
I did too, actually. And I didn't go. I was like, I'm not going to this place. But they got in for rowing, like crew, like rowing. And it's like,
How
what's that got to do
dumb
with?
do you have to be
what's
to
c-
not get into USC without mama's money?
They must be.
But
really
that's
dumb.
the thing. I was talking to Luke about this in the car. I was like, what happens when they get out with this, say, degree that they paid like hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars in bribes for, right? Their life is already gilded before they even get into college. Like, after they go through this process, whether they're a good student or not, say they went through like the 4 years or 5 years, got their degree, it's like, do we honestly believe that they're going to take this education and be still on the same type of level that other people...
No, did you see where Lori Loughlin's house looks like? That shit. She lives in a giant estate.
Does she really?
Yeah, they're super wealthy.
Residuals from Massimo and
no.
Full House?
I think also married to some fashion
She's
designer.
married to
massive.
Massimo.
Oh, is that who that dude is?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's why. Well, that house is massive.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing.
So, I
It's-
mean, kids don't need to go to college.
Right.
Yeah.
And if their heart isn't into it, and they're just there because the parents feel like this diploma or this certification, right? I was telling Luke that unless you're in a specified field, like you need to be an engineer, you need to have certain certifications, or you want to be a neuroscientist or a doctor, right? But if you're like going there for business administration or something, I mean, which is a totally valid degree in anything, right?
Or
but if you're
sociology.
sociology, English,
Yeah.
anything, right?
Yeah.
The chances that you're going to come out of that experience, it's not the degree necessarily that is important. It's the fact that you actually completed
Yep.
it.
It's a discipline.
Right.
It's the discipline of doing it.
And if
Yep.
they're not going to really put through that effort to get there, and once they're out, it's almost like in Korea or Taiwan, you have to serve in the military for 2 years. It's
Yep.
like that, right?
Yeah.
You got to go and serve. It
Equalizing.
doesn't matter.
It's equalizing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that after that, it's like, oh, what are people really affronted by? I mean, there are some cases where people are like, well, they took away the opportunities from other people that deserved it, right? Well, I mean, that's already been happening. We just don't know this arcane type of system behind the scenes of who gets in, who doesn't. Do I have to donate money? Do I have to, name a building? Do I
Sure.
have to, is it my buddy from school? He's now the dean of admission.
But it's also like legacy too. Oh, my grandfather went, my father went.
Right.
But you might be the dumbest motherfucker, but you still get to go because your dad and grandfather went, right?
And you put up the money.
Yeah.
Right.
That too, or something, right?
So I mean, it definitely, obviously there was wrongdoing here, but I think it's good that it happened because it just further illustrates how divided like our current society is right now in terms of income disparity and the affordances. Even when we're joking around, we're talking about buying robots, but I had some classmates that couldn't afford anything
Sure.
at all. I mean, if my worst problem was like, oh, well, I couldn't find the figure I wanted, that's a pretty good problem to have.
Sure it is. Yeah.
And I think, especially in today's political climate, this type of thing where we're seeing like a lot of things like being said about this current administration, there's a lot of like scandals here, scandals there, like, and then we have this type of thing.
And don't you love seeing these guys get busted finally?
Schadenfreude.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah. Schadenfreude. Don't you like that?
I love it.
You like it, don't you? This is justice served, right?
Justice served, okay?
This is justice
when I'm on
served.
our justice served, and some kid is getting hounded by a bully, but he's not doing anything. And then the bully's like, yeah, whatever. All of a sudden, someone just does a flying kick from off screen, knocks the bully out. And I'm just like, that's justice served.
And this one's not? Watching Lori Loughlin go to prison for...
I had nothing against her.
She took away the opportunity from one of your friends, maybe.
You know, this is the same reason why I like that Trump is in office right now. You know why I like it?
Because you're from North Carolina.
No, because I'd rather see a snake come at me in the grass from the front than sneak up behind me from the back.
Into the butt, yeah.
Yeah.
Be very careful.
I don't like butt snakes. And this is the thing. At least we know what we're dealing with out in the open. There's very little, very few places you can hide from this type of discourse. If we had like the same status quo, say Hillary had won, right? Some of this stuff might not have ever come to light in this current, like in these 4 years, right? But it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I don't agree with like the majority of everything, just basically all of it, what's going on, there is no good time to bring this type of stuff up unless it happens, you know? And to kind of energize a base that knows now what they don't want versus what they do want. Sometimes unifying on what you don't want together is maybe just as effective as just rallying against something that all of you do want together, right? Because with Obama, remember, like everyone's like, yes, we can, you know, hope, all that stuff. It was just this huge groundswell amongst young people at the time that propelled him to the presidency. But now, like 8 years later, now 10 years later, dude, now we're kind of unifying against what we don't want.
Right.
And you know why I always joke around with Luke about? He and I are friends because we have a mutual hate of things. We're good friends because we don't like the same things, you know? But he might like some things, I might not like the same thing, but we are very like uniform on some things that we just don't like, right? And this is the type of situation we're in right now. And I don't like what's happened in that college scandal thing, but it's always been around. I'm sure it was around like 10 years ago.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, or longer.
Oh,
10
generations.
is, I think, yeah.
Generations.
But
of this.
it's nice to see someone get busted finally.
Well, the
know.
busting is going to come and go.
Sure.
What are you going to do from an institutionalized standpoint to change this type of thing?
Oh, nothing.
Well, that's the thing.
Probably nothing.
Will they be able to like not do anything at all, or are people going to hold them accountable from now on?
How?
It's like the
How,
airplanes,
though?
right?
How would you hold them accountable though? I don't know.
These colleges have so much to lose if they don't do some sort of reform on the way that they do admitting. There has to be more transparency. They're going to have to really vet this type of stuff because at the end of the day, it is like you are paying.
And
out
is it
money.
the colleges? Was part of it was the testing though? It was
Well,
all
no,
it
the
was,
colleges,
it was
like the people
testing.
that they hired that were there, like the athletic directors that had some autonomy as
Dude,
to,
that's been going on for like 50 years or more.
Yeah.
I'm sure Kareem Abdul-Jabbar fucking got all kinds of cash for going to UCLA.
and that's the thing. It's like
It's been going on since,
but now it's a thing. Once something is a thing,
I guess. But people have been busted for making all kinds of cash and nothing's been done. It's still happening.
I think this
Like
case
what
is,
did LeBron James get? A Ferrari or an airplane or something? I mean, he keeps.
Did he really?
I don't know. It
don't
keeps
know about
going.
that.
I
But-
just made that up.
Oh.
But basically, they're all getting something.
But it shouldn't take like,
know.
say, for the recent Boeing airplanes, right?
Yeah.
This whole thing that's going
737.
around. It shouldn't take two instances of two planes that might have a potential like defect in their engineering and the loss of life for this to happen. But unfortunately, you have to use this historical data and you have to look at the trend and be like, look, this
Right.
one airplane and this other plane, they're the same type of plane, the same model. They both seem to have had the same type of issue. And then Trump finally today was like, maybe we should err on the side of caution and ground them. But because of the lobbying, because of like the relationships that the government has with like certain manufacturers that are based in this country, you know, there was some pushback. They probably were like, oh shit, okay, we might have this big crisis. There's like over 1,000 of these planes out there in the world. Let's delay this and see how we can spin it. But I don't think this current generation is going to put up with much spinning as we move forward. You know, a lot of the freshmen incoming like Congress people,
Sure.
they're using pretty crass language in the hall that and I don't think they're going to call people out. They're using Twitter, they're using social media, they're just going to be sitting there. It's like, nope, bullshit. Why are you spitting this? Like before, there's a decorum to it, right? And if I got angry at Luke, I would throw my glove down at his feet and be like, "How dare you, sir? Let's, let's walk 10 paces, And for some reason, a semblance of this type of weird decorum has been maintained. But I don't think the young people of this day and age is going to put up with it too much longer. And that's why I think things like this college scandal, it's just the tip of like the iceberg.
Sure, I hope. I mean,
did they explain how the scandal got out?
How it would, I guess they had been wiretapping them, or they had like a cooperative witness.
Wow.
And so he was.
Well, they busted the test taker guy, right?
I think he was one of the cooperative witnesses,
and that
because
feels
they
weird
probably got him on some
yeah.
sort of charge,
Yeah,
and they're
they-
like, "Look, you're in for it. You earned like $25 million or something from this scheme. We can either put you in jail for 60 years for a federal racketeering charge, or you can help us like bust the others that are helping you to facilitate this, because it really is much bigger than those individual 50 people."
Dude, it's giant.
I mean, it affected athletic directors.
Sure.
It affected like admissions deans. Like the
crazy.
school's reputation is blemished. The valuation of the school could be compromised. Like if you have a school like Yale, then they're going to try to maybe investigate to see who might have known beyond that person.
Right.
Yale might be like, "Oh, it's just an isolated incident. It's just this person," but who else knew, right?
Right.
That's a problem, because if you can't get endowments anymore, or there's like a blemish on this like historically prestigious university, it affects hundreds upon hundreds of jobs, of accreditations, of people that graduated from there. Were they even worthy to be there in the first place? It puts,
I know. How many people, that's already like a foregone conclusion. How many people are already working in the industries who, scam their way into college, right? It's already like way past. You can't do shit about those guys.
and that's the most effective way to sow discord,
Right.
right? Is to cast doubt on things that you thought were real.
Right. So it loses all the Ivy League schools basically might lose prestige, which is, shattering for that whole college industry, right?
Yeah, and
it's
they're
really bad.
They're profit. You paid to go there.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And people work their butts off to try to get there because it comes with some acclaim.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do? Get a degree from some community college and try to get into Wall Street? Or are you going to try to go to Wharton at UPenn, right? One has obviously another.
I still wonder at some point, though, I don't know when that'll happen, but it seems like that would happen anyway, where we're going to move to a place where we're not going to value things like Wharton and, whatever it is, Harvard design, graduate school of design, or all that kind of stuff isn't going to matter. We're just going to be like, what can this person do? And eventually it'll get there. I just feel like that's an old world way that, to kind of recruit based on the best school versus just finding the best person. I just feel like we're going to move to the place where we're going to start valuing people over, and what they bring, whether it's them and their social media or them and their knowledge of something really esoteric. It just doesn't matter. But I feel like maybe,
I don't know. I mean, like the reason why
'cause
schools
the
are
schools-
so, elevate are have such strong reputations is because it's not easy to navigate those schools, and it shows your perseverance and it shows your discipline to be able to, work through that program.
but I just wonder, like, if you wanted to be an executive at, I don't know, Facebook's a bad example now, but let's say it was Facebook when it was younger and newer. I wonder if Mark Zuckerberg thought, oh yeah, I went to Harvard, therefore everyone at Harvard's going to be amazing. I'm going to hire Harvard grads, or is he just looking for talent?
Well, it started off as a social network in Harvard.
Sure, that's what I'm saying.
And it spread out from there.
But I'm wondering if he thought.
I remember back when you could only students
Yeah.
were allowed to join Facebook.
Sure, he couldn't join. I
And
was not a student.
so it spread from Harvard to all the other universities.
Yep.
And then it's kind of blossomed from there.
Yeah.
Maybe the reason why it moved from university to university was because of the reputation of Harvard. Who
Maybe.
knows?
Or it was just he just saw a way to make more money if it got bigger. So I'm not sure.
Just noticed that in this poster of Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee kind of looks like Daniel Glover. What's his name? The rapper. Donald
Donald Glover?
Like his face.
Where? Which one? The one
The
with...
main one where he's holding the nunchucks.
Really?
Yeah, his face is drawn sort of like, looks kind of like Donald Glover.
I don't see it.
All I know is that guy has a big fist. And is that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar like hanging from the chains?
No, that's Jim Kelly.
I'm sorry, Jim Kelly.
Yes, it is Jim
See?
Kelly.
Spoiler on the poster. Yeah,
Interesting.
it's still awesome though.
You said that was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. What are you doing here, man?
Wait, wasn't he? Wasn't he in a martial arts?
What are you
movie?
doing in this house?
Wasn't he in a martial arts movie with
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Yeah,
Yes, Game of Death.
that's right.
Yes. What are you doing here?
And on that note, guys, we're almost at the 2-hour mark. I think we should probably wrap it up. What do you think?
Schadenfreude.
I think that's the name of the episode.
Look it up.
Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me, fellas. Thanks for the pizza. Eric was so kind to give it to get pizza.
It was great having you.
Thank you.
Jesse,
Yeah, it was awesome
You know,
having
you have, we'd love to have you again soon.
I'd love to come back, and we should discuss like more Marvel stuff when
Oh
Eric
my
finally
gosh.
like,
Catches up.
yeah.
Yeah. I missed I think somewhere during high school is when I just bailed on comics.
What did you? I mean, I bailed on comics when the X-Men died and moved to Australia. But like, what did you think of Captain Marvel?
Yeah, but we didn't even mention that because I didn't see it.
Do you?
I don't know if I'm going to
No,
see
yeah,
it.
no spoilers. Just,
Okay, no. I thought it was solid. It wasn't near the top of my list in terms of Marvel movies. I think we're kind of jaded at this point as Marvel fans because we know it's culminating in Endgame coming out like in a couple months or next month or something. So when you watch a movie like this, and it's supposedly it has to be a standalone because it's an origin story of this character. I think we have to watch it knowing that we want to see how it ties into the bigger picture. So we don't really inherently give it its own room to breathe because we're just waiting for any moment that's going to give us hints towards a larger narrative. Because the narrative in this story is actually pretty light. It's not too complex. And
You mean like the Atom or something? You know,
oh, you mean Ant-Man?
or Ant-Man. Sorry,
Yeah.
when I say the Atom, Ant-Man,
you're a DC boy.
Ant-Man. But it's sort of like I was just like, what is this for?
But if you watch the previous movies, you realize that Ant-Man is to establish the quantum realm. Black Panther is to establish vibranium and like this,
I get
kingdom of technological.
That I understand
advances.
as a bigger thing, but sometimes some of these I'm just like, what the fuck? Why'd you make this for? It doesn't do anything for the whole universe.
Like which movie?
What's that?
Like which movie?
Ant-Man.
I just said that Ant-Man was there to establish the quantum realm.
It didn't do shit.
Wait and
It
see.
established nothing.
Wait and see,
It
son.
established nothing.
But no, Captain Marvel was good. It was solid. It was a good popcorn movie.
I kind of take issue with some of the soundtrack.
There's one scene in particular that some people might love out there, but
It ruined it for me.
it was cloying. It was
It featured No Doubt, their song "I'm Just a Girl" and the fight sequence, and
it was jarring.
yeah, it was really bad.
Like I can okay. Look, you want to use pop music, not pop music, but just like culturally like relevant music, right? To set the tone. James Gunn did it brilliantly in Guardians, right? He had an amazing soundtrack. There's probably some songs that a lot of people just aren't familiar with, right?
Sure, it's old stuff. It's
But then in this
forgotten.
movie, I think it was the light version of it, and it was too on the nose and too like when No Doubt came on. I know Luke hates No Doubt. I'm fine with No Doubt,
I hate No Doubt.
but it just didn't fit the scene. I think that in some minds, some people will be like, "Oh, it's perfect for that because she's a girl
Oh,
and she's fighting."
right.
But I think it was just too on the nose, and it kind of went over my head because I was like, there's gotta have been.
It wasn't over your head. It just smacked you in the fucking face.
Is she just a girl?
Yes. That's
Okay.
all she wants to be.
But I just think that to me that part was a little bit lazy in the song choice. And
I think
when-
most of the fucking soundtrack was pretty fucking lazy. It was just a lot of, I mean, like, look, I get it. It's a female protagonist, she's just a girl, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is that, like, you don't need to fucking pander to that aspect of the narrative with an all-female rock choice,
were all the songs all female
Almost
songs?
all the fucking songs were like,
So was there a Joan Jett song?
I think there was.
Was there one? And it would have been refreshing if there was.
But they did play Heart. They played Barracuda. Which
Did
is
they
super
play
dope.
Barracuda?
Oh my
Yeah, I
god.
think so.
What? No, they didn't.
Are you sure?
I know, but I know that song. And
I love Barracuda.
I love that song.
Oh yeah,
Who doesn't fucking love Heart's Barracuda?
Con and Wilson, best rock singer. Like,
Did they play
female-
Four Non-Blondes? I figured that should be in there.
I
That sounds like a perfect one to put in that movie, which I didn't see. So
But I have to say, I did like. You've seen the alien dude in the trailers and stuff.
I have not.
Okay, there's a alien dude named Talos. I thought he was actually pretty well done.
wasn't that one played by what's his name?
James Earl Jones.
No, the guy that was in the Star Wars movie.
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones was.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mufasa.
I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't know. Anyways, I'm looking up the fucking Captain Marvel soundtrack right now just to see whether or not there was like, any like what pop music, was in there. And
Was Edie Brickell in there? Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians. I
She's
figured.
married to like Paul
they
Simon
played
or something.
Elastica, Desiree, Garbage, Heart, Crazy on You by Heart.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, Hole, Lita Ford.
Oh, Lita Ford.
She
could play guitar.
They had a little bit of "Come as You Are" by Nirvana, "Just a Girl" by No Doubt, "Salt and Pepper," "Waterfalls" by TLC.
Okay. I get it. It sounds like a piece of shit.
This is a soundtrack.
Okay.
I mean, the movie, Luke gave it a B-. I gave it like a high C.
Wow.
I mean, it's not bad. I put it this way. When I went home, I didn't think about it much more.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like some other movies like Winter Soldier, Infinity War, Guardians of the Galaxy. Dude, I wanted to watch those like again right after I got out of them,
Yeah. Captain Marvel.
But she's a great actress.
Yeah, she was.
You
I mean,
know,
like
Who
she
is
was.
the, I don't even know who the actress is in that.
Brie Larson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she did a great job.
She's tiny.
Yeah, she is surprisingly like small when compared to like
I-
other characters.
Like the entire movie, she looks like this larger than life like superhero, and then like they're at the end credits scene, they have her standing next to Scarlett Johansson, and he's like tiny.
Sort of like Danzig.
Spoilers.
Sort of like Danzig.
Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
Danzig would be a great Wolverine.
Because you ever see watch the music videos, you're like, dude, this guy's buff, he's giant. Then you find out he's like maybe 5'5", 4'5",
Yeah,
4.
he'd be a great
Shorter than
Wolverine.
that,
Yeah, sure, he
probably.
could be a good Wolverine.
Oh, he would be
A
a
real
perfect
size
Wolverine.
real perfect size Wolverine.
You know who else would be a great Wolverine? Like an old man Wolverine? Harvey Keitel.
But he's too tall.
How tall is he?
I don't know if he's over 5'5", he's too tall.
You're one of those comic purists that are just like, they're too tall.
Well, Hugh Jackman's like 6 foot something.
The costume's not yellow and blue.
All right, guys. Jesse, thank you so much for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
Let's have you again soon.
All right.
You have a lot of fun things to say.
Yeah, I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing what type of nonsense comes out of Eric Nakamura's mouth. Thanks, buddy.
All right.
All right, thanks.
Peace.
Dubs. Peace and dubs.
Peace and dubs.